Turns out secret societies are real. We usually just don't hear about them for a reason. This is Billionaire Summer Camp, and it's where more than 300 big tech elites from Sam Altman to Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates meet yearly in rural Idaho to discuss their next moves. Farmers across the state of Idaho don't get an invite, and that's not an accident. This July, the meeting happened at a time when their companies are converting American farmland into AI data center campuses at a pace that has alarmed farmers, ecologists, and water regulators. This is because the same cheap power, open land, and abundant water that made Idaho a national agriculture powerhouse is now making it a prime target for big tech's infrastructure buildout. You could even see the cattle roaming as 174 private jets touched down, and that proximity is not a coincidence. Events like these are explicitly designed for informal deal making that produces formal transactions months later. What's especially concerning is they're joined by governors, senators, presidential candidates at a conference hosted by investment bankers who profit from facilitating these big tech deals. No one in the farming community receives an invitation to Sun Valley. It's only one side of the equation, the buying side. We need to understand what is happening right in front of our eyes. We are losing food growing land and the farmers that power this country. Consumers need to be the ones to drive change, and that's why we built the Localize app to connect you directly to these local farmers so they can survive rather than being taken over by big tech companies.
That's crazy work, man. They're really out meeting up like a cabal, bro, just deciding the future of, I guess, the Idaho land, man, because they said it's rich for agriculture, but won't be surprised now, man, that all that land is about to be AI data centers, bro. You know they're not going to invite the farmers. They just probably look at them like the working class. How the hell should we invite them? Crazy work, Seekers.
Drone hunts and mosquitoes for you 24/7. So it listens for mosquito sounds, chases them through the air and shreds them with its propellers. And because every insect's wing beat sounds slightly different, it can tell a mosquito from a bee. And even males from females, so it only targets the female mosquitoes that actually bite. The YC-backed startup offers the whole thing for $50 a month. You just draw the zone you want protected on your smartphone app and the drone patrols that area automatically. But their ambition is much bigger than just protecting your home. Their end goal is the complete eradication of all mosquitoes. They say 10 of these drones could keep 1 square kilometer mosquito free and make mosquito control 100 times cheaper. Ultimately, they want to wipe out diseases like malaria that over 600,000 people last year. So the ultimate plan is to create a fleet of these drones that hunt down every single mosquito until there are none left. I still can't tell if I should love it or be terrified of this startup. If you want to stay in the loop with the most interesting things in AI and robotics, follow me for more.
Hold on a second. Are you guys aware that in Terminator 2, Sarah Connor, the famous protagonist, she did something so shocking, and what happened to her is so wild when you look at what's happening today. Now, we all know Terminator is about AI and cyborgs and humanity and them trying to control us and everything and them going back in time to try to stop it. We know that. And we know Sarah Connor is watching humanity build data centers for AI right now, wondering what the Sam is going on. But did you know that she tried to dismantle data centers in the movie and then was thrown into a state hospital for the criminally insane? And they classified her, doctors classified her warnings about Judgment Day and cyborgs as paranoid schizophrenia. She went in to attempting to destroy corporate and military data centers. Most notably in Terminator 2, she raids the offices and prototypes of Cyberdyne Systems to prevent the creation of Skynet. You do know that China's whole situation over there with the facial recognition and everything is literally called Skynet, right? So how did this movie kind of like predict? It didn't predict. See, this is the thing. People say predict. Is it predicting or is it conditioning? I don't know. But let me know if you remember the data center part of this thing, because if I remember correctly, back then there was no data centers, at least not publicly known.
I do remember that part now that he actually brought it up, didn't they? Wasn't like a scene in the movie they had to infiltrate the lab and like I guess destroy it because yeah, it was the creation of Skynet. It's Terminator. No, yeah, was that? Yeah, that was Terminator 2, right? Yeah, she broke out of that hospital. John and the Terminator, and then remember they went to the guy's house, I guess, who started Skynet, and then yeah, they went to the lab and yeah, they took care of that. Or am I getting it wrong, bro? It's been a minute, man, since I watched Terminator 2, but I certainly remember that part though.
They definitely not lying about the gas being diluted or something, because I just put on my tank. It typically says like 344 or something miles. This joint is at 265, bro. Like, it's full. It's full. That's crazy.
Before you scroll, prove that I'm not AI. Yeah, I see some of you in the comments asking this question, and this ties right into the dead internet theory, which is a theory that claims that a huge amount of what we see online may not be coming from real people anymore. And it's not even really a theory anymore. According to the data, bots now outnumber human users online, totaling up to 57%, meaning that posts, comments, arguments, even some trends that suddenly appear out of nowhere have more than a 50-50 chance of not being created by humans. Now, according to the theory, the human internet started fading somewhere around the mid-2010s, and bots began filling the void. And with the introduction of AI, they're now creating blog articles, videos, replying to each other, manufacturing engagement, excitement, or outrage, and making the internet look much busier than it really is, and also full of brain rot. So some of the most annoying videos that I keep running across lately are these resin nightlight videos. At first glance, you might think they're real, but if you notice the small details, it starts to become clear that it's absolutely not. And then my favorite, the Silent Dominion comments and posts. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these out there. Hundreds of random accounts that drop this book into completely unrelated comment sections, telling people they need to check it out. And there's even the pretty clearly AI-generated videos promoting it. Now, this idea may have seemed crazy 10 years ago, but it seems that now the internet and the social media that we scroll through today is primarily a big artificial simulation designed to keep us placated, scrolling, clicking, watching, reacting, and buying things. Of course, humans are still online, now more than ever, but one day, sooner than later, artificial intelligence is going to vastly outnumber them. And the question is, will you even be able to tell the difference?
I feel like, bro, the internet, man, is just full of bots and people who rage bait now, bro. So that's not surprising, man. But he said that bots is actually taking over, bro, more than actual real people. So you probably argued in the comment section, man. You argued with a whole bot, bro, on all X, man. It's not even worth it, bro. I never argue with somebody online, bro. Like, what's the point? You're not even talking to a real person, man.
I literally can't breathe. I can't breathe. Holy shit, holy shit.
Oh, he watching you. Sizing you up.
He's in my house.
We really are living in a cognitive Wild West.
We really are living in a cognitive Wild West.
Living in a cognitive Wild West.
A cognitive Wild West.
Most people have near zero mimetic defenses or cognitive security suited for the age of synthetic media.
Near zero mimetic defenses
Or cognitive security suited for the age of synthetic media.
The age of synthetic media.
The age of synthetic media.
synthetic media.
Whatever immunity you have is worn down by the constant expectation of deception.
Whatever immunity you have is
Worn down by the
constant expectation
Of deception.
The constant expectation of deception.
Worst of all,
You've already epistemically surrendered. You've already
epistemically
Surrendered.
Worst of all, you've already epistemically surrendered.
In the black community, it's a lot of we joke about. But then there's some that we never joke about. And jogging with somebody in the forest and having them turn around and look at you and say, this is where I was going to kill you, is not the type of we do. This black woman is on a hen's date with a white male. They're running on a trail in a forest, woods, somewhere secluded. He's in front of her. He turns around and says to her, this is where I was going to kill her. And she says, that's a joke. She posted it. But you don't believe me, right? Look at this. Listen to what he said. Nah. Ain't nothing funny about this. Nah, man. Look at this shit. You don't see nothing strange about this. And then he asked was she recording. He wasn't kidding. But see, the thing is, when they tell you the truth, you don't believe them. Mind you, look at the climate we're in right now. You mean to tell me you trust yourself? Matter of fact, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to let you say it. Let me know, do you think he was joking? Is that something you say when you're joking? In a secluded place with a woman? Let me know. I'm out.
No, not at all, man. That's not something you should ever joke about. Gonna say, oh, that's where I was gonna do it at. Are you recording? Yeah, she was recording for freaking safety. Scary world, man. I'll be careful, Seekers. We aren't going out these dates, bro. Public places, man. Public places.
found this oozing out of the ground.
Being honest right out the gate, I'm not fully confident in what this sludge is. That being said, I'm 99% sure I have the answer. Now, the video that you guys just watched shows a person walking up to a very viscous liquid flowing out of the ground. Then, while in close proximity, they start jumping up and down, and this causes more to flow out little by little. Now, the closest thing I could find online was this video showing drilling mud seeping through some cracks in the concrete. So, if I really had to take a guess, I would say this is bentonite-based drilling mud. Bentonite is a type of clay, and when used in horizontal drilling, it's powdered, mixed with water to whatever thickness they want it to be, and then it's applied to the hole that's being drilled to prevent it from caving in. And typically, we're talking about horizontal drilling. In this video, that's widely accepted to be what's happening here, and therefore why they don't see anybody nearby drilling, because it's underground. And I feel like it's a reasonable assumption to think that this is roughly the same. Again, that's just my guess though. I'm sure there are people out there watching this video more knowledgeable than me on this topic, so let me know if you agree with me or not in the comment section below.
I'm sorry, excuse me? Like, is this a fucking joke? How is it okay for Saudi Arabia to have nuclear weapons, but it would allow U.S. companies to run nuclear power for the Saudis? And as you can see, after undertaking a joint study with the U.S., Saudi Arabia may be allowed to enrich uranium on its soil to produce fuel at a U.S.-built enrichment facility instead of relying on imported fuel. The deal would last 30 years and is estimated to be worth tens of billions of dollars. The enrichment provision would distinguish this agreement from another one that was struck by the U.S. in 2009 with Saudi Arabia's neighbor, the United Arab Emirates, under which the UAE does not produce its own fuel and accepts a host of other restrictions.
Making these clouds, bro, these seeded clouds. Has to do with sound too. Sounds of vibrations. Okay, yeah.
Humanity is entering into the endgame, the war for eternity. A war to be the one true history of humanity. A war over what is written down and held as truth forever. For thousands of years, civilizations have carved their stories into stone, copied them onto parchment, and built monuments to outlive themselves. But in our time, something has changed. We're approaching the technology to preserve a civilization's memory indefinitely. Imagine archives orbiting the cold vacuum of space, where passive cooling replaces expensive infrastructure, maintained by autonomous systems capable of repairing themselves. In principle, it is now possible for a civilization's histories, belief, language, and identity to persist for extraordinary long periods of time. Every empire has fought to control libraries, history itself, and now digital networks. The war has always been for the future.
Interesting.
Look what we have here. It's a drone docking station for Chick-fil-A. This is what you're gonna see all over the country soon. And when they put us on the martial law, and everybody's gotta stay home, this is what's gonna deliver your food and your groceries. You stay home and you watch that TV, you big dummy. Yeah, the TV, this 80-inch is only $300. They'd give them away for free, but that'd be too obvious. Is that drone station over there for Chick-fil-A?
No.
What's it for?
I think at the moment Wendy's uses that one, but also I think Walmart.
Walmart?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is probably the realest video of a ghost I've ever seen. And it's because it's nothing crazy. It's caught on a security camera in someone's backyard while it's raining. Now watch closely to the left of the screen over here. what looks like an apparition forms out of the mist from the rain. And you can actually see its legs striding across the yard to the house. Now this is regular time and it's walking slow, like it's in slow motion too, which is really cool. It gets to the house and it just evaporates into a mist. So here it is zoomed in so you can see it better. And like I said, you can see it taking the strides in its steps. And then here's where it just turns into a mist and disappears. This very well could be a residual haunting, where whatever this spirit is just continuously walks this path on a loop. And the person who owns this home caught it on camera. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know. And don't forget to like and follow for more.
That was scary, bro. I definitely saw that mist moving, man. Walking slowly across the yard. I don't know, man. I don't know if that was... I don't think that was fake, though. Footage looks kind of too real for that. Hey, tell me down below, do you guys think that's capping out?
People are only just finding out why pineapples hurt and sting your mouth whenever you eat them, and the reason why is honestly insane. The reason why pineapple hurts you whenever you eat it is actually an enzyme that's called bromelain, and its whole job is to break down protein, which is obviously pretty much what your entire tongue, lips, and cheeks are made of. And they're saying that this is literally the same exact stuff that they sell as meat tenderizer. So you're basically tenderizing your own mouth while you eat pineapple. But before that even kicks in, pineapple is also covered in tiny microscopic needles that scratch little cuts all around your mouth. So the needles themselves obviously scratch you open, and then the enzyme gets down into those cuts, and then the acid on top of it is what makes the whole thing sting. And the only reason why it doesn't keep going the second you swallow is because your stomach acid instantly shuts down the enzyme. It's also the exact reason why you can't put fresh pineapple inside of Jell-O, because the enzyme eats the gelatin and it never sets. Have you ever tried? Pineapple isn't even just one fruit, because it's actually 100 to 200 different tiny berries all fused together into one, which is exactly why it has that pattern. So basically, you're eating 100 different fruits and they're eating you back at the same time.
Wow. It's typing.
They're asleep. Sending package now.
What?
Don't transmit that.
What? What are they sending?
Exactly why I do not have an Alexa. Seen too many clips like this. Try to order some to their house? Is that like talking to another Alexa? Trying to link up, bro. And she didn't unplug it.
So I got some really cool pictures of the sun yesterday, but I'm about to prove to you that that's actually a reflection of the sun simulator, and I'm gonna actually prove it. So yeah, I was at the beach, and these are all just taken with my iPhone camera, like unfiltered, unedited pictures. No, this one was my favorite. But anyways, if we're getting back to the point, look at that. Now look at these. Those are from a flashlight. I'll show you the video in just a second. See that? That's a reflection of the inside of the flashlight. It looks the exact same. Same with those. It's gonna reflect exactly what that light source looks like. Okay? I couldn't really like zoom in on it, that's why I just showed y'all a screenshot a second ago. But using this flashlight to show you that the little lens reflector behaves the same, whether it's the sun or a flashlight, and it is showing you exactly what the inside of that flashlight looks like. So why is it so bizarre or like crazy to assume that that is the same reflection as that? It didn't always look like that, and I'm going to prove that next. So May 16, 2018, sun, I was on Belle Isle. Look at that one. Let's zoom in on it. Look at that. There's no. Here's another example. 2019, there's the sun. There's the little bluish, greenish, whatever reflector with no lines, no grid, no nothing. And again, even in 2020, down there, not the best picture. Right here, 2019 again. Look right there. Right here, the date was cut out. I think that was 2020 something, but again, no lines, dots, nothing. Riverwalk downtown. Let's zoom in on this one. What the f is that? It's giving eclipse. Like, look at it. It looks exactly like this, the face of the moon. That's weird. I was going through my whole camera roll trying to figure out, like, when exactly did this change occur? And 2022 is where I stopped yesterday because TikTok just kept deleting this video, and I have to, this is the 4th time I've been remade it. So just to post it and get it out there, I'm gonna just stop it here. I'm gonna keep going through my camera roll and figuring out exactly where it changed. So I'll be back.
O que você faria se acordasse e descobrisse que suas galinhas estavam desaparecendo e a câmera mostrasse algo que ninguém consegue explicar? Morador de uma área rural decidiu instalar uma câmera perto do galinheiro depois que várias galinhas desapareceram sem deixar rastros. No começo, ele acreditava que o culpado fosse algum animal selvagem, mas o que apareceu nas imagens deixou toda a comunidade em choque. Durante a tarde,
just want to show a quick example of one of the ways that subliminal messaging works. I'm going to play 2 sounds, and after you hear the second sound, you'll never be able to hear the first sound the same way again. The sound will actually change the way you hear something permanently. Alright, so here's the first sound.
Okay.
So now I'm going to play the second audio, and after hearing it, you won't be able to hear the first one the same way ever again.
It was a sunny day and the children were going to the park.
Now, this is just a minor example of how predictive your brain is.
Corporations have been using music to control your mind for years. And it's funny how nobody actually understands that, because when it comes to commercials, when it comes to movies, when it comes to television shows, they use music to influence how your brain perceives what's happening on screen. In fact, there are so many scientific journals that speak directly to the power of music and mind control by way of rhythmic sound. This is not something that's hoodoo voodoo. This is real. Where the conspiracy begins is when you start to think how corporations have been using music to control your mind and mine for decades. Even the literal National Institute of Health talks about the transformative power of music and how neuroplasticity plays a role. So consider, how many times has music manipulated your emotions, controlled the way you felt, or even changed your mind about something that you felt previous to listening to that song? So, do you think frequency manipulation is real or fake? Tell me what you think in the comments.
See, cause when I heard that clip when he played the first one, I did not hear what that woman was saying. Like, we took the children to the park. But it's right. As soon as he played that first clip over again, I instantly picked up on it, man. See, cause tell me down below, man, if you guys heard that woman talking again when they played the first clip. I really want to know, man. Mind-boggling stuff, bro.
We are slowly getting rid of all seeds in fruits and vegetables, and honestly, it's brilliant, because once every apple, grape, watermelon and tomato is seedless, guess who controls life itself? No more planting your own food. No more saving seeds for next season. Everything you eat, everything that grows, will come from our labs, and when the last natural seed is gone, that's when it gets fun. We can make them rare, expensive, maybe even licensed. Only billionaires that will have gardens, and everyone else will have to subscribe to eat. Sounds insane, right? But it's already happening. Seedless isn't convenience, it's containment. Every time you pick up a seedless fruit, you're holding a future that can't reproduce. So yeah, expect more seedless, everything. Because the easiest way to control the world is to stop it from growing.
Just open my sparkling water. Still fizzing, bro. It's crazy. Why is the CS still going? Is that brand called? Okay. Let's get another one. That one's completely normal.
Figure AI humanoids have returned to the BMW factory floor, and its job is now much harder than the first. This is Figure 3, Figure AI's newest humanoid, now on the floor at BMW's Spartanburg plant. It's picking up where Figure 02 left off, after that robot helped build over 30,000 BMW X3s last year in the body shop. But Figure 3 isn't repeating that job. It's tackling something much messier, sequencing. Parts arrive unsorted in random orientations. Figure 3 has to see them, sort them, and load them into a trolley in the right order for the right car. Then it does something Figure 2 never did. It grabs the loaded cart and pulls it, balancing and stepping while still holding parts. It's powered by Helix 2, Figure's AI system that controls the robot's hands, arms, torso, and feet together in real time. Figure 3 also comes with softer, safer components, wireless charging, tactile hands with palm cameras, and even voice-to-voice communication. It's all happening in Hall 52, the same hall being upgraded to build BMW's next electric SUV, the iX5. Figure AI's CEO says this proves humanoids aren't lab experiments anymore. They're becoming real factory workers.
I thought most sinkholes happen outside of America. This one was in North Baltimore. That shit is a big sinkhole too, bro. Like, just give me my money after this.
They're all what's called queen breeders. So they're the ones responsible for producing superior genetics to be able to produce honeybees that are strong and able to fight disease and be prolific in being able to produce quality eggs and quality.
No reaction at all from him. Too chill for me.
Look at all those bees. I can't believe it. It's like armor.
You ever notice how all religions say hell is hot? No. Hell is really ice cold. Your religion lied to you. But why? Why do they want us to believe that hell was hot when it's the opposite? You ever been to a hot country and you see nothing but fruit trees, animals, birds? I mean, it's just so much life in a hot country. You ever been to an ice cold country? It seemed like shit is dead. Nothing grow. Our body temperature, 98.6 degrees. Healthy. But if your temperatures start to drop, you actually die. And when you die, they put your body on ice. You ever touch the dead body? Freezing cold. You ever touch a body that's still alive? Hot. The sun represents heaven. The moon represents heaven. The sun is hot. The moon is cold. But let's go a little deeper. Remember the story of Prometheus and how he stole fire from the gods? The gods they are speaking about is us. 2026, the year of the fire horse. So a lot of shit will burn. And if you look at the world right now, we are dealing with a lot of wildfires. There will be more movies speaking about fire. There will be more people trying to start fire. This whole year, nothing but fire. Watch. But in 2027, guess what? It's the year of the fire goat. All these athletes that say they're a goat, all these celebrities that say they're a goat, your goats will burn in 2027. This will be the goat or the sheep. The goat is connected to, and the sheep are connected to the ones that don't know no better. The population, nothing but a sheep. They don't pick their head up. They don't ask questions. They don't even care. They just worship anything. That's because they stole you're fired.
There is some high influx of energy coming in, man. Just a few days after Mexico deals with a 7.3 devastating earthquake. Look at this, y'all. Now, look at this intense flash flood that's currently going on in Nogales, Mexico, y'all. And something must be going on with the drains because this happened only 15 minutes after it rained. Look at this. I told you, I think the water's coming from underneath the ground. I've been telling y'all to watch the water. There's so much water, this man had to use his horse in order to go get the other horses from the other side of the stable because they were stuck there. It's crazy how we're watching the dichotomy of one part of the world praying for rain and the other side begging for it to stop.
This runway show you're about to watch goes very deep and it may make you uncomfortable. This is by far the most controversial runway show in Paris Fashion Week this year, and just pay very close attention to every single thing that they're wearing, the things in their eyes, on their mouth, on their feet, on their hands. This video we're about to watch is going to break down every single thing that they're wearing. This show is called The 1%.
It's just that, the call out of the 1%. The first part is introduction to a bourgeois family. You meet the mothers, fathers, daughters of the family. A lot of them wearing white gloves with red palms titled guilt gloves, symbolizing that there is blood on their hands. Some characters even choking on the accessories symbolizing the greed. Wearing shirts saying I love power and literally being blinded with money. Instead of handcuffs, their hands are tied with pearl necklaces. Their pursuit of beauty and youth being one thing that they can never attain. The second part represents the power of community. This is also a call out of the 1%. It also is a reference how the Métier Fécal team has been referred to since their last debut in Paris. They're constantly called a cult, which can be easily said about 1%. Also, the last part is the power of the future, where Hannah shows up in albino python cocoon skirt with the Gila skin boot morphing into her leg, showing that the 1% have access to tools of life that most of us don't. Michelle Ami walks the show as a representation of bracing the natural beauty of aging and no need to play pretend. This fashion show is a commentary on society that we live in. This is what fashion does the most. Provoke. The collection might leave you uncomfortable, but the question is, doesn't society already make you feel
up? In Australia has trained a cluster of human brain cells living on a microchip to play Doom. Well, yeah, obviously, technically, human brain cells can already play Doom, but it's a bit more impressive than that. Scientists at Cortical Labs confirmed in a YouTube video that its CL1 biological computer, which has about 200,000 living neurons that have been grown on a microchip, is able to play Doom about as well as someone who's never touched a computer in their life. Will you shut up? The gameplay of Doom is converted into electrical stimulation patterns which are interpreted by the neurons. So if an enemy appears on one side of the screen, that side of the neurons is stimulated and, you know, pew-pew. Apparently the cells are capable of basic learning and adaptation, which is vaguely unsettling, but famously scientists doing experiments like these are always ethical, so it should be fine.
Hey Owen, someone's calling you. It's someone from the Umbrella Corporation?
Oh, of course. Hey, Oswell, how are you, man? I thought you died.
You know what Ford has? A patent for vehicles to be able to repossess themselves.
Whoa.
And I read it so you don't have to. That's you, number 120. That's your repossession computer, that's a camera, and that's a camera. But we'll come back to the cameras. So in the event that you become delinquent on your payments, the computers will then begin to communicate with each other. One of those computers will be your lending institution. Now, warning messages will be sent to you. In the event that you do not answer those messages or try to resolve your delinquency, the first step will be to make you become uncomfortable to drive the vehicle, such as disabling things like cruise control, your automatic windows, your automatic seats, or the infotainment system.
Can they do that?
When you, number 120, come near the vehicle, an unpleasant noise will continue to be played. You will not be able to shut off that sound without contacting, that's right, your lending institution. If, in spite of the sound produced, you still fail to respond to their messages and fix your delinquency, they will then move on to the next phase, which is disabling some, if not all, of the primary use components. For example, the engine, the brakes, the accelerator, the steering wheel, the doors, and lights of the vehicle. You know, everything you'd need to drive. You remember the cameras I told you about, 130 and 140? Yeah, well, they would be able to use those for video clips or even video streaming to see if your vehicle is parked inside a garage. Now, should it get to this point, the vehicle will autonomously drive itself from the owner's premises to either a repossession agency, an impound yard, or any other predetermined location. So if you'd like to read this for yourself, there's the patent number. Now, a spokesperson for Ford said, we don't have any plans to deploy this, and I'm thinking it's probably because they don't know how they'd get it out of a garage if it's in one. Just a thought. Anyway, they say we submit patents to new inventions all the time. It doesn't mean it's a new business or product plan.
The fact that that's even a patent in the first place is crazy, bro. Like, imagine you waking up, there's a damn hole in your garage, bro, because your Ford transported itself back to the lot, bro. The things people come up with, man, to get their money, bro, is really mind-boggling.
Well, guys, Sammy Asdrubal accidentally created a robot vacuum army. He just wanted to control his automated vacuum with a PS5 control, you know, as you do. And then he used Claude Code and found a massive flaw in DJI's system. So much so, it gave him access to 7,000 vacuums that he could control. He could see through their cameras. He could listen through their microphones, which even according to him, he was like, why does the vacuum have a microphone? And it would even tell him the GPS location because this dude just wanted to play Vacuum Simulator at home.
Wow.
This is the most terrifying way to go. By being lost in real life backrooms. AKA the Paris Catacombs. Combs, you are gonna see the lost footage.
This video camera was found deep in the catacombs. It was picked up by a catacomb explorer.
When the footage of this camera was played, everyone was shocked. Because a man was lost and he was recording. He was extremely deep into the maze. You know you're deep when you start to see the skeletons. Because over 6 million bodies are buried there. From the footage we have, he is sprinting down these tunnels as if something is chasing behind him.
There's catacombs, man. It's a scary place. I don't know why anybody
As
want to
his
go there.
breathing increases, eventually he drops the camera and runs into the darkness, never to be found again.
Book it, yup. There's a spider in there, bro. And that damn fruit snap. What the? Oh, hell no, bro. Y'all eating that? Fun was noted.
And here I'm thinking YB would be different. When YB first came out, did y'all expect him to end up being like this? Wearing some shit like this? Not me. I'm thinking this man was gonna be on his Pac shit, his Tupac shit. Be rebellious to people like this. But nope. He's with them. Look at that fucking chain, fool. Look at the chain. Look at the outfit. Just me looking at this shit, I'm like, he's gonna be the next Lil Wayne, fool. He's already going down the same route. The little rock star. YB the rock star, the emo. Shit crazy, fool. But then again, when you rap about the shit you rap about, it's not hard to believe you can sell your soul. Y'all let me know how y'all feel.
Okay, what do you found?
Time counts. I'm still here. Years hit slow, but they hit deep. Hope stayed awake when nights didn't sleep. They locked doors, feel me fear. Said stay small, I stayed clear. Chains teach way, silence speaks. Weak talk loud, strong, move discreet. I learned pain, don't beg or cry. It wastes calm, then multiplies.
Connected to something.
Slow breath, jaw set. Freedom tastes like unpaid debt. Redemption.
Treasure, what the?
Paid in time.
Okay. This has to be Planet, right? No way. Okay, what's in it? That's what we all want to know. on. You got this. Hurry up, bro. Alright. Big reveal. What the?
Nepal needs to be studied. After overthrowing their government and giving rise to Gen Z protests around the world, they're now about to elect a rapper as their new leader. Balendra Shah, who's commonly just called Balan in Nepal, is a former rapper/engineer who unexpectedly became a political phenomenon. Despite being a structural engineer by training, around 2012 he became known in the Nepali hip-hop scene for his often politically critical rap. 10 years later, in 2022, he ran for mayor of Kathmandu as an independent, not backed by any major party, and his win shocked the entire country. He beat candidates from 2 major parties by a large margin, and he's about to do it again. But this time not as a mayor of a city, but rather the leader of an entire country in a manner that has never been seen before. His party has reportedly secured over 120 seats in parliament, which is unprecedented. But for a country that's population is very young, the median age is about 25, they didn't just want a new leader, they wanted an entirely new kind of leader. And they certainly got it. But the question is, what do you guys think? Did Nepal make a good decision or not?
So rapper is the president over there in Nepal, bro. Tell me down below, man, what rappers do you think would actually be good presidents, bro, if they actually ran? I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.
For the whole memory, and they know it. And as crazy as this may sound, water remembers who you are, bro. You think that's just a coincidence, bro? The ancients knew this, and that's why baptism works. That's why holy water is prayed over. They speaking life into it, structuring. Water is living consciousness. That's exactly why tears hold emotion, bro. That's because this water is consciousness. And they made you forget, bro. Start speaking life into your water, and it will speak life back into you. You are 70% water. 70% memory. Revive your water. Revive your power. See, they poison the wells and sell you the cure, but now you know the truth. Link in my bio, bro.
They said Waterhole's memory. He said Waterhole's memory, right, bro? So what you been doing this whole time, my guy? What's your story, bro? I'm going to find out. Bro, there's something wrong with these clouds.
The legend
bro.
of the Bridge Man. The story goes that in November 1941, during the rededication of the South Fork Bridge in British Columbia, a rift in the space-time continuum briefly opened. Out stepped a man who looked like he had just walked out of a 21st century coffee shop. In the folklore of the internet, he is known as a chrononaut, a professional time traveler who forgot the most important rule: don't stand in the front row. The evidence that fueled the myth. The legend persists because of 3 specific glitches in the reality of the photo. The modern silhouette. While every other man in the shot is a carbon copy of 1940s fashion, high-waisted trousers, stiff suits, and structured fedoras, this man wears a loose zip-front cardigan over a graphic tee. To modernize, he looks like he's headed to a music festival, the future tech.
Right here, this, whatever this is, this right here, we think it's air. But I realize that if I stop, close my nose and mouth for 4 minutes, if I'm separated from this substance for 4 minutes, my heart don't stop, my brain don't even stop, my body functions don't stop. The first thing I lose is consciousness. I pass out. I could no longer stay aware. So I started to say, well, wait a minute. I'm not just breathing in air. I'm breathing in consciousness. I'm inhaling and exhaling God itself.
I keep telling y'all, these fast food restaurants and these quick service companies do not have your best interests in hand. So a lawsuit just came out claiming that Starbucks, you heard what I said? Starbucks is serving coffee that contains chemicals that show up in industrial products and paint strippers. And the crazy part is they're telling you not to worry about it. So the chemical they're talking about is a chemical called acrylamine. And according to scientists, it forms when foods are cooked or roasted at high temperatures. Which means when coffee beans get roasted, this chemical can show up in the final drink. Now here's the scary part. The chemical that they're talking about has been linked in studies to possible cancer risk in animals. And this same chemical has also been used in certain industrial processes. Now the question we need to ask, why are they allowing people to drink something with that in it every single morning? And here's where things get interesting. Lawsuits started popping up saying that Starbucks should warn people. California even tried requiring warning labels on coffee. But then the regulators stepped in and said, don't worry about it. They claimed that the levels are too low to matter and that coffee has health benefits. Now think about that for a second. You got a chemical connected to cancer studies found in a drink that billions of people consume daily. And the final message is, yeah, it's there, but it's fine. So now the question just isn't about Starbucks. The real question is, how many chemicals are we consuming daily? That's something to think about. Pay attention.
Using AI to slip adverts into shows that you're already watching and you wouldn't even know. The actors in the show will do the adverts unknowingly. Check this out. Look, this is Suits. Normal show, everything's working as normal. He's coming out to jump in the car, and then suddenly an ad break hits. AI generates the advert, different for everyone. This one's a Coca-Cola advert, takes you over to Coca-Cola, and then it just seamlessly goes on with the show. The actors themselves in the shows are going to be the people presenting the products that the advertisers want. Every person gets a different advert depending on their own selected advertising. Old shows like Friends, an ad break shows up. Suddenly, Joey reaches down and grabs a Beats by Dre headphones, and then you can go over and click on it. They're seamlessly adding these products in and even having the actors showcase them, and they don't need to bring the actors in. It's just going to be seamless.
That's bad.
Encino House. This is Encino House. Encino House.
At 12:50 a.m., the security alarm goes off, says there's an intruder. After playing back the footage, the homeowner was confused. What happened here?
See some pulses of light.
I personally watched this footage over and over again, and the only excuse I can come up with was possibly a direct energy weapon or something interdimensional.
Could be.
You do hear a loud blast going off, and then on camera you see a shockwave begin to roll by. This definitely goes down as unexplainable. Leave your thoughts below.
A whole Jim Carrey thing that's blowing up right now?
Yeah.
1000%.
Oh, yeah.
It's not Jim Carrey.
I knew it.
First off, he would have came out and said something already.
Yeah.
Has not. Why?
We don't know where he went.
He's the one that did this, right? With Jim Carrey, from years and years ago, he's always been trying to expose the Illuminati. Facts. He did it on Jimmy Kimmel.
I know. He's like, if my beard's chopped off, then that's how you know it's not me. If I ever shave my face again, you'll know.
As
the world's gonna end in 2026.
I don't exist. I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern.
And look at him in the face. Jim Carrey's the one that makes like the weird faces, right? So why would he ever get his Botox to ruin that? Because he really has $1 billion face in back. Yeah, because his expressions comes from it. Yeah. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that, bro. I know he wouldn't do that. I know if you see it. He went from like brown eyes to like green. So and I was like, what could a reptile have? Green eyes. Jim Carrey right now, he looks a lot like this actor that passed away. I think literally last year. Okay. His name is Val Kilmer. He was in Top Gun. Oh, does he not look like? I have seen that. Never mind, yo. He looks a bit like the new Jim Carrey. No, I'm telling you. Look. Bro, that's Jim. That's Jim. Bro, that's Jim.
Why is it?
Well, we shutting this down below in the comments, man. Was that Jim Carrey we saw at that event? Was he real or clone, bro? If he's real, type real in the comments. If he's clone, type clones in the comments, man.
That so many occult and magical symbols resemble so closely electronic schematics. Arthur C. Clarke famously said any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Many of the world's greatest scientists and inventors were deeply in touch with the occult, including Thomas Edison. In the 1990s, a group of researchers created the Scully experiment, in which they received a schematic to communicate with the spirit world. They were given detailed instructions on how to build a device containing a germanium crystal that would help them communicate with the spirit world. Using this device in combination with 35mm film, the Scully group received images that appeared to feature faces and even words in Sanskrit and Latin. Some of the researchers involved with this group included Cambridge professors. Much of the information regarding this experiment has disappeared from the internet.
Smell me ass.
What the hell is in his shoes?
It was hot today. Stop.
Bro, that's fucking crazy.
It was hot today.
That doesn't look like my dog. That does not look like Hazel. Ew! Who are you?
Yeah, people saying their animals are acting strange.
Stop. I'm going to bed. You're scaring me. Why are you looking at me like that?
Maybe she could sense something.
They all keep looking at things.
What the fuck? Oh my god, bye.
He's trying to warn you, bro.
A lot of them are panting, they're whimpering, like they're acting brand new sometimes. Like they don't know that person. And it almost feels like something is in the room with the people because they keep looking at the walls and the ceilings. And then see, he backs away. Look.
I'm out.
Look at this. Look at this Doberman. Says it feels like he sees something that we don't. And he's looking straight ahead. And it's starting to freak them out. Look. He's looking straight ahead. What is he looking at? People have been saying their dogs have been acting like this for weeks. This dog tries to get in the shower with her owner and won't stop sniffing her. And forget being right by her side. He literally wants to be inside of her. It's like they feel some type of energy around them. You see, look at this one. He's just staring at nothing or at the wall. What is it that they see?
Spirits.
What is it that they see? Look at the eyes of the dog. What can they see that we can't?
Bro, I don't know what's wrong with this dog. I don't know if it's mechanical, but like it's been doing this the whole day. Okay, all right, just good boy. Just stay over there with that weird stuff because I don't know what.
Y'all remember now, in all of these movies, they tell us that the animals are going to be the ones to let us know when things are starting to change. And everybody's animals right now are acting weird. They are picking up on the subtle electromagnetic energies that are in the air that are appearing to be different to them. Even us, a lot of us are sensitive to this energy that's in the atmosphere right now, but we're just not saying anything. But the animals are acting strange, like something bigger is here. What do you guys think it is, man? Let me know down in the comments below. The shit is here and it is real. The animals are feeling it. Let's get it, y'all.
People have never been adults.
humans. Of the 117 billion humans who have ever lived, more than half died before adulthood. Nearly 10% of all humans in history are alive today, so it's reasonable for you to assume that most existed recently, but that's not what happened. Half of all humans who ever lived existed before the year 0. Back then, birth rates were 5 times higher than today. Women had 6 to 9 children on average instead of today's 2.3 average. Disease, famine, and war kept populations from growing. Even with more people born, death outpaced life. A brutal world wiped out billions of children before they could grow up. If you are at least 20 years old, you have already outlived most of humanity. By nature, most of us were never supposed to be here this long, yet we are. We live longer, experience more, and shape the world in ways that literally billions of people before us never could. Half of all humans never knew clocks, engines, or even books. They stayed where they were born and never imagined a world like ours. The question is, what will you do with the time that they never had?
Yes, no,
This
very important
woman
question.
was buried alive by her husband. This happened in Washington when 42-year-old Young Ann called police using her Apple Watch after her husband beat her and duct taped her mouth. During the 911 call, Young is heard screaming before her husband broke her Apple Watch, threw her in his van, and drove off. Video surveillance captured Che Ann driving out of the garage at the same time that police arrived to the home. Che Ann took his wife to a wooded area, stabbed her in the chest, and buried her alive in a shallow grave. She had a very hard time breathing when she was in there, but she was able to finally get out several hours later and ran to the nearest home and asked for help. It was said that their fight started because they were talking about divorce and finances. Che Ann was charged with attempted first-degree murder, domestic violence, and kidnapping.
I'm getting an Apple Watch. Simple, man.
If you're ever attacked by a crocodile, here's what you need to do to survive. Rule number 1, remember that you're probably gonna die. You see, crocodiles are literal living tanks measuring over 20 feet long and weighing over 2,000 pounds. They can hold their breath underwater for over an hour, which leads us to our first actual tip. Rule number 1, stay on land. If you see a crocodile, it's time to channel your inner Usain Bolt and run in a straight line. The whole running in a zigzag thing is just a myth, and crocodiles can't keep up for long distances, so sprint like your life depends on it, because it does. Next, if you ignored rule number 1 and find yourself in a wrestling match with a crocodile, hit its eyes or nose. Or if you can't, hit the palatal valve at the back of the crocodile's throat, because that'll cause it to drown. Finally, if the crocodile starts its infamous death roll, you should try to roll with it, but truthfully, you should probably just start praying and tell Iron Man that I said hi.
Those freaking guys are playing with their lives, man. One guy put his head in the crocodile's mouth, the other hand. Those some dead devils, man. Like I said, I will be channeling my Usain Bolt. Hitting the jets. You ain't catching me, man.
This man murdered his wife with a chainsaw, left her decapitated body in the street, and escaped America. And to this day, he's never been caught.
Whoa.
On April 26, 2010, the police department in Lewisville, Texas received a chilling call. A mailman had called in and was frantic, and he told the dispatcher that he had just found a decapitated corpse of a woman lying in the middle of the street. The victim was Maria Corona, and just before she had been killed, she had been on the phone with one of her best friends. Allegedly, she told her friend that her husband, Jose, was out in the yard making noise with some lawn equipment. She then went outside to check on what Jose was doing, and that's when he began to attack her. Maria's husband, Jose, had been planning this murder for a while. He had prepped the chainsaws the night before, gotten all of his getaway supplies ready, so when his wife walked out of the door that morning, he was ready to kill. According to the police, Jose at the time believed that his wife had been cheating on him. So, according to authorities, he contacted a local witch doctor, or a curandera. According to authorities, this woman gave Jose little vials of perfume and herbs to place around the house to ward off bad spirits, but it's believed that this woman, who's never been identified, may have instructed Jose to kill his wife. After killing his wife and leaving her body in the street, Jose escaped in a vehicle. He then parked the vehicle at a Walmart where another unidentified person picked him up in a pickup. That pickup then brought Jose to an auto dealership. He told someone he wanted to take a car on a test drive, and then he ended up stealing the car. And he eventually crossed the border into Mexico and disappeared. To this day, this is an interesting case because this is considered a solved murder. They obviously know who did it, but Jose has completely vanished. Nobody has seen or heard from him since this event, and it is believed that he is still on the run, living his life somewhere, only God knows where. If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast that I co-host with my wife, Courtney, Murder in America, available on all streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Breaking
They
news:
consider that solved?
made in the death of actor Matthew Perry, including 2 doctors, his assistant, and the ketamine queen. Perry revealed his decades-long struggle with addiction in his 2022 memoir, Friends, Lover, and the Big Terrible Thing, and how he was prescribed Vicodin after a jet ski accident on a film set in 1997. Eventually, Perry was taking up to 55 pills per day. In 2023, Perry was receiving ketamine infusions for anxiety and depression, but soon slipped back into his addiction and started getting it illegally as well. And that's when 2 medical doctors started providing him the drug off the record. One of the doctors that's been arrested wrote, quote, "I wonder how much this moron will pay, and let's find out." For a vial that cost them $12, they were charging Perry thousands of dollars. Perry eventually sought out a new source because of these expenses, one of them being Jasmine Sangha, known as the Ketamine Queen, who's also been charged in connection with another man's overdose back in 2019. On October 23rd of last year, shortly after this, the defendants tried to cover up their involvement by deleting text messages and apparently forging medical records. Authorities say the Ketamine Queen sold the drug to Perry's assistant, Kenneth Iwamasa, who injected Perry the day he died, and the syringe was provided by Dr. P, who sold drugs to Perry in the past. 2 defendants, including Perry's assistant, have pleaded guilty to charges already, and a 3rd has agreed to plead guilty. Dr. P and the Ketamine Queen could face life in prison.
Fun fact,
Stay away from
often
drugs.
called one of the most perfectly designed objects to ever be built, we've all sat on a monoblock chair, and it's estimated more than 1 billion of them have been made since they began production in the 1970s. The monoblock chair transcends time. Look at these photos. Tell me what year they were taken. You can't. The monoblock chair is so perfectly designed, unlike cars, TVs, or phones, it's never changed. And since its design was never patented, we aren't actually sure who designed it. Credit is usually given to Douglas Simpson as the original designer and Henry Massonette as the mass producer. Monoblock chairs are really a product of industry. As injection molding became more refined in the 1970s, monoblock chairs were able to be produced on an insane scale and at a very minimal cost.
Which of these facts is the hardest to believe? If you are coughing uncontrollably, try raising your hands above your shoulders like this. Blue color attracts mosquitoes 2 times more than any other color. Your voice changes when you speak to a person you like. Mickey Mouse is now 96 years old. You cannot say the letter B without your lips touching. If you look at yourself in the mirror for more than 1 minute, you will start to imagine things that are not there. When you yawn, it means you need more oxygen, not that you are sleepy. Kids today take approximately 90 seconds longer to run a mile than their parents did at the same age. More?
I think the one that's the fact that it's fake is the, I guess, mosquitoes being attracted to the color blue. Everything else is believable.
Exposing the biggest lies in American history, part 1. You guys really expect me to believe that this fat piece of lard flopped its way to Pakistan and killed Osama bin Laden? Nice try, America.
Okay, weird facts. Let's believe it.
Random facts about Australia because I just love y'all that much. The word selfie came from Australia. It was first used by Aussie man Nathan Hope when he posted a picture after he busted his ass while drinking. There's more kangaroos than people. Since kangaroos are the white-tailed deer of down under, it's common to eat kangaroo meat. I've actually had a kangaroo burger, and it was not bad. Y'all are home to the most venomous snake, fish, octopus, spider, which I didn't even bother putting here, one of the few venomous mammals, and the most dangerous bird in the world. But that doesn't compare to the most venomous thing of all. Because the most venomous things in the world, the box jellyfish and the irukandji, are from Australia. Somehow, with all the dangerous animals in Australia, the one responsible for the most names on Twitter bios, horses and cows. Y'all are so afraid of spiders and snakes, but a horse is more likely to kick your lights out. But it's not all bad. I do have the happiest animal in the world, the quokka. Fun fact, really happy fact actually, they're not endangered. They're vulnerable, so they're not 100% safe, but they're definitely not going extinct. Which is great because Rottnest gets about $4 million in tourism every year, and the quokka selfie is a big reason why. Australia also has the longest fence in the world at 3,488 miles.
Supposed to keep rabbits out, but I guess they forgot rabbits can dig.
Did you guys hear about the 34-year-old teacher that was essaying a 13-year-old student, and it turns out that they possibly have a 5-year-old child together? I'm at the point where this stuff doesn't even surprise me anymore because it's been happening so often lately. This woman's name is Laura Karen, and she was a 5th grade teacher in Middle Township Elementary School in New Jersey. So this whole thing started when Laura became the victim's teacher in the 5th grade. Laura and the victim's mother became friends, got to know each other, and she offered to take care of her kids. The victim, who was 11 years old at the time, was staying at Laura's house with his siblings regularly. Now, the kids went from going to Laura's house every day to then actually staying there permanently. It was said the kids did not go home anymore, and they basically lived in Laura's house from 2016 to 2020. During that time, the 11-year-old was being essayed by Laura, and allegedly they have a child together. Then fast forward a few years later, the victim's father saw a photo of Laura's child on Facebook, and he said, "This kid looks a lot like my son." He called police and an investigation began, and Laura was arrested, but they're still waiting on the DNA results. Now, when the siblings were asked if they saw anything weird going on in the house, they said that Laura and their brother slept in her bed every single night. And not only that, but apparently they also showered together, and they caught Laura essaying him one night. The siblings also said that when this baby was born, they knew that this was their brother's child, but they were told not to say anything because then Laura would get in trouble. And you guys won't believe this, but Laura was just released from jail until her next court date. This should be a wake-up call to people who leave their kids with literally just anyone. A lot of people believe that just because someone's a teacher, you can fully trust them, but what you may not know is that a lot of predators get positions that revolve around children just so that it's easier to get away with this kind of stuff.
Things that almost no humans can do, apart from short. If you can, then you're bloody weird. This is where you bend your pinky finger without moving your ring finger. And only 5% of humans can actually do this. Join this video if you can do it.
I can't do that. I tried, bro. I can't.
Dirty facts about history that school probably didn't teach you. Part 20. Before she married Ronald, Nancy Reagan was known around Hollywood for her oral abilities, therefore making her a certified throat goat. Queen Victoria really loved doing the deed with her husband, Prince Albert. Like, really loved doing it. To the point where it was audible through doors and walls several times daily. After the Founding Fathers signed the Declaration of Independence, they went frat boy mode and racked up a pretty impressive bar tab. A bottle of whiskey, 2 bottles of wine, and 7 to 10 beers per Founding Father. George Washington in particular was known as the 3-bottle man, meaning he could drink 3 entire fifths of whiskey without blacking out. The guy who invented sea monkeys was a white supremacist, so if you ever bought this bullshit, you indirectly contributed to the Klan.
Wow, the more you know, man. I never bought a sea monkey, so I'm cool. That was an insane fact.
This is insane. What you are seeing is believed to be the first ever footage captured of an alive black sea devil near the surface during daylight. It was spotted on the 26th of January, just 2 kilometers off the coast of Tenerife. And because this fish usually lives as deep as 2,000 meters under the surface where there's total darkness, until now only larvae or dead specimens have been seen so close to the surface in daylight. So I don't know what kind of revolutionary, mind-blowing experience this sea devil is having right now, but he won't be going back down to tell his friends how to escape the Matrix because he's dead. He's dead.
Of course.
Here's some crazy things happening in the world right now. ChatGPT found the diagnosis for a young boy after 17 doctors over 3 years could not figure out what was causing his chronic pain. A blind man is raising concerns about Indiana gun laws after he was allowed to get a license to carry. Google has just dropped its guidelines that promise not to use AI for weapons. Everything I say leaks was a quote by Mark Zuckerberg in a leaked meeting audio. People were driving over Lake Winnebago in Wisconsin to save them hours on their drives. Beavers built a dam in 2 days that the Czech Republic government was planning to build for 7 years, saving them over $1 million. The skeleton panda sea squirt is a new ocean species that was discovered near Japan, named after its resemblance of a panda face. Joe Biden has signed with a Hollywood talent agency. The doomsday clock was just set to 89 seconds from midnight for the first time ever.
This is the moment the 17-year-old is seen smiling after finding out that he was found not guilty for the murder of his mother. The crazy part about this entire thing is that the year prior, he also shot and took his father's life. This all happened in September 2024 when 39-year-old Catherine Griffith was found to death in her parents' home in Auburndale, Florida. Her own son, 17-year-old Colin Griffith, he told police that his mother lunged at him with a knife and then somehow she fell on the knife and lost her life. Now, a few weeks before this happened, Colin had a conversation with his grandfather, which was his mother's father, and do you want to know what he said to him? He said, I quote, "More than anything, I want to slit her throat and feel her out and feel the life leave her body. That's how much I hate her." That's what he said to his grandfather. Witnesses also saw Colin and his mother arguing outside the house, and they saw him grab his mother by the hair and drag her inside the home. Now, the part that had my jaw on the floor was finding out that the year prior, Colin also and took his father's life. During the trial, this detail was not allowed in court, which means that the jury did not know that Colin also took his father's life, because I'm sure that if they knew this, the outcome would have been a lot different. It's actually terrifying that this man is just out and free, and in my opinion, he could potentially be a serial killer, and it's just a matter of time until he does this again.
How was he able to get out? You saw, like I said, the video footage of him smiling. I don't know why the jury didn't know that. The evidence was right there, man. He got away with it. This world, bro.
This TikToker was murdered by her ex-boyfriend. The same man that she made this video about on her TikTok. In August of 2024, 25-year-old Caitlin Lee was recording a TikTok video with one of her best friends. Caitlin, who was a mother of 3, was celebrating, having a good night with her friend, dancing in the kitchen and making a TikTok. However, at one point, Caitlin and her friend heard knocking on a window. According to the friend, Caitlin then walked over to the window, looked outside, and claimed, "What are you doing here?" And shortly after that, 2 to 3 gunshots rang out, with the bullets piercing Caitlin, killing her. The man who murdered Caitlin was her 25-year-old ex-boyfriend, a man named Joshua Thompson. The two had dated in the past, but friends and family members said that their relationship was incredibly toxic. In fact, in April of 2024, the police were called after Joshua beat Caitlin so badly that she was covered with bruises all over her body. Immediately after killing Caitlin, Joshua ran from the scene and called his brother, crying. And he immediately confessed to shooting his ex-girlfriend in the head and killing her. Sadly, in the past, a no-contact order had been filed against Joshua, basically a restraining order to keep him away from his ex-girlfriend. But that did no good, and sadly, Caitlin ended up dead. This is so scary and a story that we hear time and time again. A woman who moves on with her life, and a man who just can't let that woman go. If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast that I co-host with my wife Courtney, Murder in America. It's available on all streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
3 facts about Australia that will blow your fucking mind. Number 3, Australia has the largest population of camels. Now you're probably thinking, nah mate, what about the Middle East? They have shitloads of camels. Yeah, but they come from us. We export our camels all over the world. So the next time you see a camel, just say g'day, because he's probably Australian.
G'day, mate.
Number 2, Australia invented Wi-Fi. Now I refuse to believe this, but it's bloody true and there's the facts. So if we invented Wi-Fi, why is it so fucking shit here? Number 1, this is a wombat. It is an Australian native animal. But these guys do something that will blow your mind. They shit cubes. What? Could you imagine if your poos had edges? Lucky they're not sharp, because that would hurt. So if you value your life, don't shit cubes, mate.
Simple fact.
On the morning of April 24th, 2006, an 8-year-old boy walked over to his friend's house in Medicine Hat, Canada to play. When he got there, he knocked on the door, but there was no answer, so he began peering through the windows to see if he could see anybody. And when he looked down into the basement, he saw something so grotesque and horrible that he turned around and sprinted home, where he told his mother, who then called police. When police showed up, down in the home's basement, they found the bodies of Mark and Deborah Richardson, who were clearly the victims of an insanely brutal murder. And then upstairs, lying in a pool of blood in his bed with his toy lightsaber lying next to him that he presumably used to try and defend himself, was the body of their 8-year-old son, Tyler. Missing from the home was the couple's 12-year-old daughter, Jasmine. So the police immediately began looking for her, assuming that she was a victim who had been abducted. But quickly, through their investigation and their search, they determined that she was not abducted and she was not a victim in this case. It all started earlier that year when Jasmine had gotten heavy into the goth scene. She made profiles on websites like VampireFreaks.com, and she started going to punk rock concerts. And it was at one of these concerts that she met 22-year-old Jeremy Steinke, who identified as a 300-year-old werewolf. Now, whether you accept the 289-year age gap between her and his vampire self or werewolf self, or the 11-year age gap between her and his human self, that's a huge age gap either way when you're talking about a pre-teen girl. But either way, they began dating almost immediately, and they weren't secretive about it. He would lie to people and tell people that she was 15, even though he knew very well that she was 11. But she would just tell everybody she was dating this 22-year-old guy. And she got a lot of flack from that from her friends. And eventually her parents found out. And of course when they did, they were irate and they grounded her. And when they grounded her, that's when she hatched this crazy plan where she was going to kill her parents so they could be together forever. And she would email Jeremy telling him, I've got this wonderful plan. It starts with me killing them and then us living together. And instead of trying to dissuade her, Jeremy was all about it and basically just told her, all right, but we need to come up with a much better plan. You know, we need to get the details hashed out. Well, they didn't come up with a much better plan. Instead, the night before, they met secretly and watched the movie Natural Born Killers about a couple of young lovers who become serial killers. And then that following evening, they got a knife and they entered Jasmine's home. Jeremy went downstairs and brutally killed her two parents, stabbing them to death. The police would later say it looks like what a fish looks like when you've got a fish. So he not only stabbed them to death, but he did more. And then she went upstairs and presumably took care of her brother. Forensics evidence suggests that she was upstairs while he was downstairs, although it's important to note they both blame each other for killing her little brother. He would receive a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 25 years. She would get convicted also on the 3 counts of murder, but she would only serve 6 years in prison and then 4 years in another facility before she was released. So she's totally free now out in society.
Biggest streamer in the world sell their soul?
It's something most people don't notice. As I mentioned before, Kai Cenat is making a transition. Here he is in Paris for Fashion Week since his promo of the new brand Vivet. Now the outfit he wears doesn't look the same, but similar to an outfit upcoming artist David wore and sold on his website before his incident. That year, David also had strong connections to Paris during Fashion Week. Now the patterns is what continues to show themselves. You see here David doing the one-eye symbolism, the all-seeing eye. Kai has been showing the same patterns even before all this started. Now, if you remember, this is from his old profile picture on his Instagram. The vow of silence, the one-eye symbolism, and even what we see here. The horned hand, the mano cornudo. Even on his arm, you see the see no evil, and you're going to turn a blind eye to the evil that's going on. It's similar to his recent Vivet design. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Now, if you still think that's not enough, he recently met up with one of the final bosses of fashion, Laura Roach. Laura Roach is a powerhouse in the Paris fashion industry, and now Kai has him as a stylist and coach. As you can see, even with this character, the patterns don't change. One-eye symbolism. One-eye symbolism. Okay, so this is my final connection. Laura Roach and Michelle Lamy are both iconic figures in the fashion industry who maintain a close professional and personal relationship. Michelle Lamy is frequently seen at events hosted by Laura Roach. July 2025, she was a notable guest at Roach's 47th birthday celebration at the hotel in Paris. Laura Roach even has been spotted at exclusive parties hosted by Rick Owens. And if you don't know about Michelle and Rick Owens, you should watch my other video on it, Birds of a Feather. So you might choose to ignore this. The characters might change, but these patterns always stay the same.
Bro, tell me down below, man. Let's end this debate once for all. Kai sell his soul, bro. Tell me what you think, man. I know a lot of people do. I guess ever since he started his brand, but people saying he's been moving differently. Debate it down below. I don't think he did, though, but that's the moth, man.
staring.
Alright, y'all, I have to share with you one of my most requested videos. I posted this back at the end of 2023, and what happened in this video was an unidentified man, a witness, had saw something that he couldn't explain. A being, a female being, walking down the pier, and he had no idea what it was. It had pointed ears, walking on tiptoe, and no, to those who said maybe she came from a cosplay or something like that, there was nothing like that going on, nor in that little town do they have stuff like that. It literally looks like this creature came out of the water and was going back to the water. But the question is, what was she? Was this a person in costume, or is this something else? And keep in mind, this was captured back before AI was a thing. So back in 2023, before AI blew up, and now we have to question everything. What did he capture? Take a look, comment below, tell me what you think.
Okay, let's check it out. The hell is that? I guess it ain't coming from no cosplay party. Whoa.
Suck babies' blood. And put it on my face.
I eat children. How old are you? 12. Oh, okay. Only to 10.
What are you pushing into the skin? Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores. But what is it? It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract. It's foreskin from a Korean baby. That's what it is.
The elite showing you Satan's pentagram at the opening ceremony for the Olympics tells you who runs this world. Just yet another satanic Olympic opening ceremony. The synagogue of Satan uses the inverted pentagram because it puts spirit at the bottom. And this is the symbolism in which they worship Satan. Now, pentagrams represent all 5 elements: spirit, water, fire, earth, and air. The inverted satanic pentagram puts spirit at the bottom. This is quite literally this satanic order where they prioritize the physical aspects of this reality over the divine or God. We're talking the exact symbol that they use in the Church of Satan at the front door, at the gate of the Olympics. They make it so obvious that they're the ones that are controlling everything, that they worship Satan. All these things that have been coming out recently and exposing what's really been going on. Is this really a surprise to any of you guys? Nope. Symbolism rules our world, and you need to decipher these codes in order to understand who controls things. What's going on behind the closed doors? The shadows are now coming to light, and we, the people, will light up the darkness. Peace and love.
Did Jeffrey rise from the dead again? While almost everyone's talking about the halftime show with Bad Bunny, a candy company that directs its marketing towards children used someone who looks just like Epstein. We'll get into a lot more stuff in just 1 minute, but I mean, you have to be kidding me. They could have chose anyone else in the world but a guy who looks exactly like Jeff. Again, candy commercial, which is aiming at children, and even the way he's like dressing, they literally mimicked exactly what he looks like. Remember, we're talking about the guy who ordered 300 gallons of sulfuric acid, and we saw it in the drops. What in the world could someone use that for? Come on now. Then to put this garbage right in front of our face. Well, hold on. Not mine. I don't watch this. They already made it in court a while back. It was fake. It's always a homage. By the way, completely unrelated. Tell me in the comments what color her shoes are right here. Lady Gaga. For those who don't know what sulfuric acid does, it dissolves anything, and I do mean anything. And of course, Jay-Z comes out of hiding. Birds of a feather flock together. You know, here's the real question. When they pay homage to people like that, like the Grammys and the Olympics, what do you think these people are doing with all the energy they conjure up from the fiction trying to get your energy? Why don't you boycott? Let me know.
Brian is a famous artist, and we always make fun of each other and portray each other in silly, satirical ways.
Theo, as you know, is the latest, hottest, hunkiest teen idol there is.
Yeah. Is he?
I mean, he tries to kiss me on the lips.
No.
Listen, I'm not
gonna act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out. said, how you been, man? I've been seeing you so long. How much did we drink?
2 men from that set began sexually abusing me. I thought a lot about that. I thought a lot about how these predators have some sort of sixth sense for vulnerable kids.
How do you even build a child molesting robot?
What you do is you start by building a regular robot, then you molest it and hope that it continues the cycle.
In today's episode of Random White Acts of Danger, we have Exploring with Special White Breed ND. And immediately you're going to see free will is so crazy because you don't got to do all this. Red Bull nowhere in sight, so why sleep for vibes? Fear unlocked. Thalassophobia is dark. Bring me back up, gangster. Why would you think I wanted to come with you? Are you insane? Like, nah, boy, that's got to be what hell look like. Oh, that's really the unknown. We don't know what could be down there. And you just stepped off the edge into what looks like guaranteed death. What if a fish just drag you to the bottom? Or like a mermaid? Aliens? I believe in all that shit. Look how dark and how fast it get dark. Boy, my hands is sweating. I'm happy you did this for us, though, so now I never have to ever do this. But it's like, I'm almost mad you brought me with you. Like, I wish you just kept the camera here and I could have let you disappear. But when I'm disappearing with you, it's like a jump scare is on the way. It doesn't even need to be no jump scare because I'm already about to have a heart attack. It's pitch black down in the fucking water. You doing this by choice? Oh, yeah, man. Special White Breed ND. Definitely why I be rocking with white people, though, because, like, a lot of shit would not get discovered without them. Like, I wouldn't be able to enjoy cave exploring, moving, grooving, vibing, sliding, flying through the air, pitch black dives. Without you, I'm not doing that. But, like, I can feel enjoyment through the screen. A little bit of fear and a little bit of, like, why? Do you not like your life? But you know what I'm saying? I'm entertained. I appreciate you. Already know. Run the outro!
Not me. That's crazy. It's black, bro.
So you're telling me that this whole time, the way I lay in bed actually matters? And that my sleep position affects more than just comfort? You motherfuckers. Tell me you didn't see this coming. Even lying on your back. Energy, hormones, gut still takes a beating. Oh, wow. Now the hugger position, teddy bear position is making more sense to me. What about you?
I ain't big on theories or nothing like that, but this one don't make sense. He told us about how he came up and fame and all that, but he ain't really tell us how he came up, like grew up and shit like that. For example, you go on Google and try to find out who this man's parents are, you cannot find a trace.
Really?
I'm about to pull it up right now. Nah, this is Wikipedia. That's all. That's all you gonna find on Wikipedia. Go search for yourself. This is some random site. Little is known regarding Orlando Brown's parents and family. Like what? Another site. Where is his parents from? There is no information regarding where Orlando Brown's parents is from. And it keeps going. Cherry on top, father, mother, TVA. They do not know. Like, bro, can somebody let me know who this man's parents is? Like, or is this man like government made or something? Like, and he just broke out the Matrix or some shit.
Have you ever wondered why when rockets take off, they never maintain their trajectory going straight up? They always curve. Now, I'm not saying we're in a dome, but when you watch this video, if you take into account what it mentions in Genesis, which is that we're under a firmament, the earth is strong in its foundations, and it will not be moved. That's the opposite of what NASA says, by the way. Apparently, we're moving at a bajillion miles an hour, hurtling through the sky, and it's absolutely wild up there, and there's space and aliens. Listen, so when this rocket gets to a certain height, it's going to look like it smacks onto a body of water. It literally looks like ripples in water. Now, apparently the firmament is not water. Look at that. What did it hit? The atmosphere? It went through different densities of air and freaking... What is that? So it's not that there's necessarily water up there. It gets to a point where it's like a jelly-like ether. And then above that are the waters above the firmament. At least that's what it says in Genesis. So don't argue with me. Now, the crazy part that is not mentioned in this video, and you realize too, if we have been fibbed to about the true shape of this realm, that would be the biggest lie ever. And everything else would come crumbling down and would be exposed if we found out the shape of the earth is not quite what they said.
Yep.
So the question is, are all of our ancestors, which were building things, magnificent structures, living organically, they had advanced knowledge, they also believed it was flat. So were they all wrong? They were right about building and ancient knowledge and whatnot, but they were wrong about the shape. They got it wrong. The shape is actually a ball. People used to think the earth was flat. Yes, every single advanced, the Mayans, the Egyptians, carvings in stone, flat. But the crazy part is, if it's flat, what the Sam damn are we on, dude? I know you're already thinking that. Well, we got lands past the ice wall. Maybe it goes on for infinity, man. But it's definitely, likely, in my opinion, not a ball hurtling through space. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
You guys team flat earth or team round, bro? Yeah, these flat earth theories, bro. It's starting to convince me more and more, man.
Don't believe that people can shapeshift into you. They can jump into your body and they can act like you. You know how like some people astral project into your lives and they get to see what's going on in your home. They can see what you're doing in actual real time. There's people that can jump into your body and take over you and pretend to be you. Y'all remember the movie Princess and the Frog? And y'all remember Shadow Man? And y'all remember how the prince homeboy, he wanted to be him so bad. And so he had made a deal with Shadow Man to be him. And you see how he was walking all around town and he was the prince and people believe that he was the prince. You ever had somebody be like, oh, I seen you the other day over here? Like, no, that wasn't me. People can really shapeshift into you and walk around this town and walk around your neighborhood and act like they are you. Y'all gotta be aware.
If you can't see, you are just blind. Watch this.
Hey, anybody order a pizza?
Give me my baby joy.
What? And now listen this.
How was the pizza? Was it good? What he made it himself? Pizza was better than Clue's.
Oh.
Everybody made it a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love.
Tom Hanks was just beyond nice. You know, when we were filming Cloud Atlas, he would put on a Sunday movie night, and we would all go kick it back at his house, watch a movie, and he'd order a load of pizzas.
Why? Why it's always pizza?
I hate pizza.
You hate pizza?
I know.
It was a blast. And I just have two questions. One is that why celebrities are so much obsessed with that one thing. It's always the pizza. And number two is that in these emails of Epstein files, they mentioned pizza over 900 times. 900 times. And this photo is very weird. And still nobody talking about that. Tell me what you all think about that.
D4BD friend just got arrested, y'all. Shit getting real. This just a little update on David, y'all, because no one been talking about it lately. But they arrested his friend because they summoned this man to appear in court and he didn't come. That man said, I will not cooperate. He doing what a lot of rappers don't do. keeping his mouth closed. So I seen people talking about he was guilty. Nah, he not guilty. He just didn't come to court. But it do makes David seem a little guilty. Because if you didn't do nothing, you should have told your man, like, hey, go ahead, go to court, fool. Vouch for me, fool. But like I say, it's making everything seem a little suspicious. I'm so lost in this court case, I didn't even know that they were doing court already. I didn't even know. My whole thing is, why is this man D4VD still not arrested yet? They saying they got all this evidence now, but he's still not arrested. But you did arrest his friend though. And I need y'all to keep it real down below in the comments. If this was you, are you going to court cooperating, or you going to keep it on a hush-hush too? Let me know down below in the comments.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
They're saying that Meta is trying to keep people alive online after they die. You heard what I just said? They want to use an AI to post as you after you die. Meta just secured a patent for AI that can manage a deceased person's account. Not memorize, not freeze it. We're talking about running a deceased person's account, posting on it, replying to messages, even making videos using historical data. So let me get this straight. You die, but your profile doesn't. This AI uses your past posts, your DMs, your voice notes, your captions, your behavior patterns. This thing studies how you talk, how you joke, how you argue, and then it replicates you. They're calling this innovation, but I'm calling this digital resurrection without your consent. I want you to go back. Remember when celebrities were signing deals with Meta? Selling their likenesses for AI. That wasn't random. All that tells me is they've been building this the whole entire time. And here's the part that's crazy as hell. Go down the rabbit hole. Find out what Meta means in Hebrew. Meta in Hebrew means dead. But it's a conspiracy, right? See, what it is, you don't think symbolism matters to these people. It matters. So now imagine this. Your grandmother passes away, right? Her account start posting memories, commenting back, messaging family. Is that comfort? Or is that training humanity to normalize AI replacing us? You do the math. The real question you have to ask is, who owns your identity when you're gone? Your family or AI?
That is insane, bro, that we even had to have this discussion. But now that he put this in the works, man, who knows how many accounts, bro, still gonna be operating even though the owner's not here. I didn't even know that Meta was doing deals where celebrities were signing away their likeness. So they sign away their soul for a check.
Is the reason downloadable content and microtransactions ruin gaming. Why?
Wait, how? How the hell did he create that?
He was the one that came up with the idea, and it came out all in the Epstein files.
Yeah?
He was writing an email to the makers of Call of Duty, talking about you have to start introducing microtransactions into these games. Okay. You'll be very profitable. That's why we have microtransactions today, and that's why gaming is ruined. Oh, this guy's the actual devil.
Yeah, why would he do
that? That means like so he can make more money.
Yeah, like
everything,
games, like guns and all that.
Okay, the maps, yeah. DLC was him. Okay, microtransactions, everything was him.
Wait.
So we wouldn't have Nuketown if it wasn't for Jimmy.
That's what I'm saying, bro. We wouldn't have Nuketown. Fortnite would not be a big
Fortnite
game.
would not be a
Fortnite nothing without that.
Now, but Nuketown came out like as a regular map, right? No, it's DLC. No, Black Ops.
Oh, yeah, I got Fortnite. I got you.
So now we.
So he made picking microtransactions, bro. How deep does that damn rabbit hole go, man? He's connected with a whole lot of freaking powerful people, man. Creators of Call of Duty, so that's why freaking microtransactions. I read a little bit of messages saying it was addicted and knowing kids would just buy into it. Wow.
No, the real reason why Epstein wasn't into black girls the way that he was into his own, because he had other plans for our people. Have y'all seen this, bro? Epstein emails expose disturbing parties for hunting black people.
Yeah, I cannot make this shit up if I wanted to, man. Look at what Jeffrey Epstein said. It says, going to Milano's party now to hunt. And guess what? There, right over here, y'all see that? And one of the most powerful families in the world, the Rothschild, replied to it saying, thanks, thrilling hunt. So with movies like The Hunger Games, they were literally telling us what they were doing to our people. You really think they're doing this to their own? Peep this, y'all. The movie is called The Hunger Games Mockingjay. J, the letter J. If you know your history correctly, the oldest languages in the Bible didn't have the letter J in it. It was the letter Y for Yah, meaning God. So they're literally telling us they are mocking God. And who is God? Come on, y'all already know. Stop playing. And once again, y'all, when it comes to me, I let my numbers do the talking for me. Because men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. The movie is called The Hunger Games, and it gives you the number 42. Do you know how relevant the number 42 is, y'all? Look up the number 42 and how it's associated with our people specifically. Hold on, you don't have to. Let me show y'all. Jeffrey Epstein hunting? Bro, I'm not playing with y'all. These movies have been telling us for quite some time. Ever since they set foot on our land, this is exactly what they've been doing. How do you think they've been keeping our people underneath this spell? They are literally mocking us right here on our place, bro. And they're literally telling us, this is nothing new. Why would they do this to their own? Now you really understand why over 1 million black women and children go missing every single year. Because of this head honcho over here. Y'all, when y'all gonna wake up? It's 2026, man. When are y'all gonna wake up and stop sleeping with the enemy? And everybody's asking the same question now. What did we do to y'all? What did we do to y'all? Let me know down in the comments below, y'all. The shit is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace in. You see her smiling? You see her smiling? You see that? See that? You see, you got the black body, you got the chocolate insides, right? You got the black woolly afro hair. Yeah. Because this is what they look like, right? This is what they look like. Y'all better wake up, man. The shit is here. Let's continue to get it. Peace out.
Will mess with your perception of time. Cleopatra was alive closer to the invention of Snapchat than to the creation of the pyramids. The jewelry brand Tiffany & Co. was created before Italy became a country. Martin Luther King and Anne Frank would be the same age if they were both alive today. When Star Wars came out, guillotines were still legal in France. Nintendo was founded the same year Van Gogh painted The Starry Night. And if you fit the entire history of Earth into 1 year, humans would only appear on December 31st at 11:35 p.m. Send this to someone to make them question everything.
This man served 17 years in prison after being mistaken for someone that looked just like him. In 1999, Richard Jones was falsely accused and imprisoned for a robbery that happened at a Walmart in Kansas. A robber tried to snatch a purse from a woman in a parking lot, but this man was not Richard. It was a man who looked just like him and had a similar name as Richard. The person that they should have been looking for was this man named Ricky Amos. But unfortunately, an eyewitness at the Walmart identified Richard as a culprit and testified against him in court. Even though Richard had an alibi at the time of the crime, it wasn't enough evidence and he was put behind bars for a 19-year sentence. Richard tried to appeal, but nothing ever came out of it. Now, 16 years later, in 2015, other inmates began telling Richard that there was another inmate who looked just like him. Richard had a gut feeling, so he contacted his attorney, and when they put Richard and Ricky side by side, it was clear that they were identical and they might have made a mistake. 17 years later, Richard was finally released from prison when the witnesses said that they can barely tell the difference between the two men. After his release, Richard received a $1 million settlement by the state.
Nah, 1 mil ain't enough, man. How many years he did in the pen? That's exactly how much money they need to wire to his account, bro. He made a colossal mistake, man. He did like, I think 17 years they said? Yep, 17 million, bro. He's settling for nothing less. That is so messed up, man. Imagine not doing something, bro, and you still get sent to prison. He had an alibi and everything, man. The evidence was literally right there, and they still put him behind bars. Crazy.
Facts that could save your life, part 4. If you ever disturb a wasp's nest, don't run for the water. The wasps are so smart they'll wait for you to resurface and then continue to sting you. If you're ever buried in an avalanche, you must spit. Your saliva will follow the gravity and you can dig the opposite way, making it easier to get out. Do you ever struggle in school, especially in math? All you have to do is take a picture of your math problem, and GothMath shows you exactly step by step on how it got the answer and the answer itself. Just in case your teacher is extremely annoying with asking you to show your work. The link is in my bio and it's completely free.
Here are facts that are guaranteed to make you go, what the fuck?
that if you tell literally anyone, you will look like a fucking genius. You're welcome. First up, do you hate carrots? Good, cause same, and there's a very good reason. Yes, the carrots are very healthy for you, however, eating too many of these bad boys will make your skin turn orange. I'm legit not lying. You will become an Oompa Loompa, you have been warned, resulting in a condition called carrot enoderma. Next up, Venus's snow is actually metal. Mommy, it's snowing outside. Ever look at a bright sky and see like white dots or shapes? Well, you are actually looking at your blood. What? These are actually your white blood cells. So everyone knows the Big Daddy Easter Island heads. Did you know they have bodies? The cracking sound made when you click your joints is gas being released between them. Hunting unicorns in Michigan is legal. Let's make a deal. If you didn't know any of these, you have to share it.
Elizabeth Smart, part 26. Since being found and saved from her captors, Elizabeth has done so much good with her life. She's not only gone on to become a children's safety advocate, as well as a commentator on ABC News, but she also went on to have her own family. As well as she was most recently featured on The Masked Dancer. I would have said spoilers, except that ABC spoiled that for themselves. And the comments on her post were so rude, you guys. Like, oh, I guess we're famous now for getting kidnapped. Screw off. This woman has done so much more in her life than just be a victim. Just because you're unaware of it doesn't mean the rest of the world isn't, and I'm quite frankly so happy that Elizabeth seems happy. However, after she was found, not everything was sunshine and rainbows. It took 8 years for this case to go to court. Mitchell was charged with kidnapping and blank, and he's serving 2 life sentences currently. However, Wanda worked out for herself a plea bargain. She was charged with only assisting in kidnapping, and believe me, she did so much worse to Elizabeth. You can read about it in her book, and she's been free since August 2020. So yeah.
Here's some tips that could save your life that you're actually likely to use. If you're ever outside and your hair's standing straight up, you're about to be struck by lightning. So what you have to do is crouch into this position and brace yourself. If your house ever randomly smells like fish, 9 out of 10 times it's an electrical fire. If you're ever in a foreign country and you don't know the emergency number, dial 112. It's the universal number for emergency. If a tornado looks like it's not moving, it's actually moving towards you. If there's ever a gas leak in your house, don't turn on the lights. A spark from the light switch can blow up your entire house. If you're ever in a crashing elevator, lie down flat to evenly distribute your weight. If you happen to fall into a subway track, look for the little crawl space and hide in there. If there's a deer on a road, you have a better chance of surviving if you drive into it. But if it's a moose, drive into a ditch. Even if you have no service, you can still call 911. Share this video with a loved one to keep them safe.
Hey man, that 1112, is that accurate? I remember seeing a comment a couple of weeks ago. I was saying, you know, I think if you're in the United Kingdom, 1112 isn't the actual number, it's something else. So I wonder if it varies, you know, for different countries, the emergency number. So some interesting facts.
Psychology hacks you need to know. If someone is trying to make you decide something in a hurry, they're most likely giving you a bad deal, and you should just walk away. If a person is trying to intimidate you, stare at their forehead with a blank expression. This will psychologically make them self-conscious. Chewing gum when you're nervous really does help, because your brain thinks, I'm eating, so I must not be in danger. If you want to know if someone is interested in what you're saying, cross your arms. If they cross their arms too, this is called mirroring, and it actually means they're interested in the conversation. If you need to remember to do something tomorrow, just put something in your room out of place. The next day, you'll see this item out of place and you'll remember why you put it there. Finally, if 2 people are arguing, stand in between them and eat something. It'll help alleviate the tension.
Really?
Creepy last words people said right before dying. A nurse named Kathy said that she was working a night shift caring for a man who was dying of heart failure. It was quiet, almost peaceful, until suddenly he sat upright in bed, eyes wide, locked on the far corner of the room. He's back, he whispered. Who's back? Kathy asked. The man in the top hat, he said. He comes every night now. Tall, dark, shadowy. He just stands there watching me. Kathy glanced over, but the corner was empty. Just shadows dancing in the low light. She tried to reassure him, but he kept going. He carries a silver stopwatch, he said, voice shaking. Last night he opened it and said, it's almost time. I can't wait. She felt uneasy, but tried to stay professional until he looked at her, eyes full of terror. He knows everything I've done, he said, things I never told anyone. Every sin, every secret, he whispered them all to me, like he'd been there, watching me my whole life. Then he said, he's here to take me. Moments later, he flatlined, his eyes still locked on that dark corner. Kathy said that she'd never felt anything like it. The heavy air, the way the room didn't feel empty, even after the patient was gone. And just before she left, she heard a faint ticking, then a soft click, as if someone had closed a stopwatch. Kathy said that she went to confession the next day for the first time in over 10 years.
This nurse murdered 7 newborn babies in her care. Between 2015 and 2016, Nurse Lucy Letby murdered 7 newborn babies by injecting milk, insulin, or air into their bloodstream at the Countess Chester Hospital in England. The hospital called police when there was a rising mortality rate in the neonatal unit, and doctors began to notice similarities in the deaths of these infants and asked to do a review of each case. After investigating, it was evident that someone was purposely hurting these newborn babies, causing them to either lose their lives or putting them in critical condition. It seemed like every time Lucy was caring for a newborn baby in her unit, they somehow became sick or passed away. In one instance, Lucy injected air into the bloodstream of a twin baby boy and he passed away, and then she tried doing the same thing to his twin sister, but she survived. She denied all these allegations, but after searching her home, they found handwritten notes where she confessed to killing all these babies. In one note, she wrote, "I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough to take care of them." She was charged in 2020, but the trial is still ongoing and it's expected to last several months.
The babies do to her, man. There's some sick people in this world.
So it's December 20th, 2024, and 33-year-old Teresa Bermel decides to bring Jell-O shots to a Christmas party. The only problem? The partygoers were 5th graders. She brought Jell-O shots into her daughter's elementary school for their annual Christmas party. So they look something like this. They're a huge hit with the kids, and within minutes, 36 of the 40 are gone. So a little bit of time goes by, a couple kids start complaining of a headache, a couple kids start complaining of a stomach ache, 2 kids start throwing up, and 1 kid who had 6 Jell-O shots straight up passes out. Teachers who are like, what in the hell is going on, smell the alcohol, send the kids to the nurse, and by 11:15 in the morning, the assistant principal has called 911. So the cops contact the bakery that made these Jell-O shots, and they're like, absolutely not. There's no way she didn't know there was alcohol in these. Apparently, the flyer that Teresa ordered from says contains vodka, and the bakery owner showed a correspondence of text messages where Teresa straight up asked the owner, do these contain alcohol? Which she, of course, said yes. Teresa has been arrested and bail was set at $75K.
She's trying to get all those little kids freaking drunk. Bro, what the heck? At a Christmas party, too? One of those kids going crazy, man, drinking 6 Jell-O shots back to back to back. Thinking they just, regular freaking Jell-O. And she knew what she was doing, too, man. The message correspondence, it was all caught in 4K, man. What was going through her mind when she did that? What was the reasoning behind that?
What's the most pain a human can feel? Number 6 is a root canal. You do not want one of these. Number 5 is childbirth. Shout out to the moms. Number 4 is passing kidney stones. It passes through the kidneys and has to go through the urethra. Pain is excruciating. Women who have had it say it's more painful than childbirth. 3 is migraines. They can be so severe they can last for hours or days. The pain can be so severe it can cause vomiting. Number 2 is broken bones. Breaking all your bones at once? No thank you. Some of these pains can be so severe that the blood rushes from your brain and you pass out. One has to be severe burns or losing a limb. Only one pain more severe than all this. It's your TikTok video flopping.
Oh, really?
Here are some facts that will change the way you see the world. Sharks are older than all trees and the rings of Saturn. There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way. You're 10 times more likely to be bitten by a New Yorker than a shark. Nintendo was founded before the zipper was invented. It is an open secret in Washington that President Jimmy Carter lost the nuclear codes by accidentally sending them to the dry cleaners in his suit pocket. Lighters were invented before matches. Strawberries are not berries, but bananas are. If you could drive straight up to space at 60 miles per hour, you would be there in an hour. A new study is saying if your friendship has lasted more than 7 years, it's very likely going to last your entire life. On average, children smile 400 times a day, women smile 62 times a day, and men smile 8 times a day. Over 3 sextillion snowflakes fall in the Rocky Mountains alone every year. Keanu Reeves' mom designed Dolly Parton's Playboy outfit and then wore it for Halloween. The Eiffel Tower grows 6 inches taller in the summertime. A woman survived a 33,000-foot fall without a parachute. A man found $3.5 million worth of vintage comics in his late great-aunt's home.
A few facts that are so unbelievable you might think I'm lying, but I'm not. The earliest known use of the term OMG comes from a 1917 letter written from Lord Fisher to Winston Churchill. If a person who's born deaf has schizophrenia, they don't hear voices, they see voices. In fact, tested subjects have reported lips moving or hands signing. The largest buyer of explosives in the world is the Department of the Defense for the United States. But number 2 is Disney. In 1919, the city of Boston was almost wiped out by a flood of molasses after a factory had ruptured, sending millions of gallons into the city. The catastrophe ultimately killed 21 people and injured 150. Anything that says genuine leather on it is low quality. High quality is top grain or full grain leather. Military grade does not mean high quality. It means easy to replace, cost effective, and durable. But marketers use it to get you to pay more.
Her parents took her life after she refused to marry her cousin. 18-year-old Saman Abbas lived with her parents in northern Italy but were originally from Pakistan. She chose not to wear a head covering in public and would also post photos of her kissing her boyfriend in public, and this would make her parents very upset. In 2020, Saman's parents wanted her to travel to Pakistan for an arranged marriage with her cousin, but she refused. To get away from her parents, she lived for several months under the protection of social services, but was tricked into going back after she received messages from them. Once Saman returned home, she mysteriously disappeared. On April 29th of 2021, CCTV footage captures 3 members of the family walking with spades, a crowbar, and a blue bag. The following day, separate footage shows Saman leaving the house with her parents, and she was never seen again. Her body was eventually recovered near a farmhouse that wasn't too far away from her parents' home. An autopsy revealed she had suffered a broken neck bone from being strangled. Once Saman's family had unalived her, they immediately left Italy and went to Pakistan so they wouldn't be caught. Her uncle, who was also involved, was detained in Paris in 2021. Father was arrested in 2022, and at the time her mother was on the run. In court, Saman's father claimed that he was innocent and that him and his wife only followed her that night because it was late and they were unhappy and they just wanted to see where she was going. The court convicted both parents and they were sentenced to life in prison.
Horrifying facts you haven't knew.
In 1988, Iranian man Mehran Karimi Nasseri was traveling to the UK with his briefcase containing essential refugee documents, was stolen from him at a Paris train station. Unable to prove his identity to British immigration officials, Nasseri was returned to France and found himself completely stranded in Terminal 1 of Paris's main airport. He remained there for an astonishing 18 years, during which he became a fixture in the terminal, residing on a red bench surrounded by his belongings, writing in his diary and engaging with airport staff and travelers. In 2006, Nasseri was hospitalized, finally ending his long stay at the airport. He later lived in a Paris shelter, before returning to the airport in 2022, where he would spend his final days, before dying of a heart attack in the same terminal. His unique situation inspired several works, most notably the 2004 film The Terminal, directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Tom Hanks.
I stopped this series because I kept getting in trouble for it, but I remember the title and I'm feeling feisty. So, here are some unethical life hacks. Most Girl Scouts can't tell if cash is counterfeit, and I have faith that you'd be able to outrun a lot of them, even with your arms full of cookie boxes. And you know who else probably isn't going to look too hard at that fake $20 bill you're about to give them? Homeless people. They'll thank you for it, go try to buy something, get arrested, go to jail, and now you have single-handedly reduced the unhoused population in your area. And if a cop is watching you and you want them to stop, even if you're not doing anything shady, but especially if you are, just pick your nose, because no paranoid person is going to start doing this if they think somebody's watching them. If you are terminally ill and single, great. If you're married, get a divorce. You can stay together. It's a piece of paper. It doesn't matter, okay? Because you're about to spend your remaining time here on Earth drastically improving your quality of life by buying the things and going on the trips that you always dreamed of via credit card debt. Because what are they going to do when you die? Ding your credit score? Be for real. In a 2 out of 3 game of rock, paper, scissors, you first need to use rock, no matter what, and then use paper, okay? I guarantee you're going to win 99.99% of the time. I can explain the psychology behind this, but it's rock, paper, scissors.
Here are 4 human body facts that are guaranteed to make you go, wow. And will most likely trigger you a little bit. Firstly, how would you react if I told you that you actually see the world upside down? I know. What? Let me just explain. The lens of each eye casts an upside down image onto our retina. It's only then that our brain takes these 2 images at 2 slightly different perspectives and creates one single right side up image. So that we're not seeing the sky on the floor and the ground. Oh, my brain. Next up, your heartbeat actually adapts to the music that you're listening to. Next, you know when your nose randomly starts running and you really don't know why? Well, what this could be may freak you out. There is a chance that that's because that's not snot, and that it's actually cerebrospinal fluid, brain and spinal cord fluid leaking out of you to reduce pressure. What? Sometimes during brain surgery, surgeons will peel back your face like a banana. Now let's make a deal. If any of these made you go, then you have to share it. Okay. Elon!
So sometimes when your nose just randomly, just starts, you think that's not, it's freaking brain fluid, spine and brain fluid. These facts be blowing my mind every single time I watch it, man.
You're about to hear things that no one bothered to tell you before. In Japan, some husbands hand their entire salary to their wives and get pocket money in return. Joe Biden's dog bit Secret Service agents while he was president at least 24 times. Over $1 million in coins are thrown into the Trevi Fountain every year, which funds 15% of a major Catholic charity. Apple spent $1 billion a year for over a decade trying to build a car that they never released. Rome can fine dog owners for not walking their dogs daily. A recent study suggested that the more someone paid attention to celebrities, the lower they scored on any cognitive test. Bananas have been considered bad luck on boats since the 1700s. The limestone on Mount Everest was once part of the ocean floor. Prions are not alive, but still hijack your brain and kill you. And they come from eating infected animal brains. A group of artists secretly lived in a hidden apartment they built inside a mall for 4 years. A 1-acre plot in Britain legally belongs to the United States as a JFK memorial. 13 Going on 30 was renamed Suddenly 30 in Australia because they thought the original title was going to be too confusing. John Steinbeck had to rewrite Of Mice and Men after his dog ate the manuscript. Heath Ledger studied ventriloquists and kept a twisted Joker diary full of disease jokes and dark imagery. Ferrite beads on power cords block radio signals so your charger doesn't become an accidental antenna. A Rhode Island hospital did brain surgery on the wrong side of the head 3 times in 1 year.
Disney World facts and incidents that are a lot darker than you could imagine. And if you guys are loving Creep Time and you want even more content, make sure to check out my Instagram right in the bio. Disney World is known for quite a few high-profile deaths, most of which they have done a great job of covering up, but none quite as quickly as when an off-duty cast member accidentally fell to his death off Disney's contemporary resort onto the monorail. Within just 3 hours, Disney had completely cleaned it up and just resumed operations. In 1981, a case went to court when parents claimed that an actor at the park who played Winnie the Pooh had slapped their daughter. But this cast member insisted that this was just a case of turning around and accidentally knocking the little girl over, and actually proved this to a jury in court by repeating the incident while dressed in costume. In the early 70s, at an attraction known as the Carousel of Progress, in which the stage rotates a full 360, the attendant, who was 18, was crushed between the stage and the wall. Even more chilling, there is an audio recording that exists of this exact incident.
I want to hear that, man. That's gonna haunt my dreams. It's crazy though, bro. Some of those happen at Disney. More you know.
Creepy ghost stories from each state, part 4.
California, Alcatraz prison. Staying at Alcatraz was no joke, and even the spirits of the most insane and notorious criminals were broken there. It is said that the empty cells inside the walls of Alcatraz still home the restless spirits that remain there. Some of the worst criminals in America, including Arthur Doc Barker, Machine Gun Kelly, and Al Capone.
What? They wanted it? Nah, I'm gonna call a cop on that.
They noticed something was following them, but as they look out the window, they see this. A Reddit user explains that one night, while taking a picture with his family near a wooded area in front of his house, they began to feel like something was watching them. As the family made their way inside the cabin in fear of some sort of predator that might be out stalking them from the woods, from one of the windows, they noticed something that doesn't seem human staring at them.
What the hell is that? Oh, I'm out.
Like something from a nightmare, the family sees this strange white figure with black eyes and mouth distorting as they zoom in on it. What's even more unsettling is the fact that multiple glowing eyes can be seen in different areas. Judging by the height of these entities, it's clear this is not human. The horrifying video was uploaded by user The Cat's Pajamas, explaining that he has no idea just what exactly was stalking his family from the woods.
Here are 3 seemingly normal pictures with very dark backstories. Number 1, the Whitaker family. What looks like maybe just a normal family out to dinner, this was actually the same night that Bart Whitaker had hired 2 friends to come and kill his entire family. Plotting to do so for monetary gain, the only survivor of the hit was the father, who is not pictured here as he was the one taking this photo. Number 2, green boots. Maybe this looks like just a snow hiker taking a break or a nap, but it's actually one of the hundreds of bodies that remain on Mount Everest, as the conditions are impossible to retrieve them. Because they are left, they remain only as landmarks for future hikers. Number 3, Carl Tanzler's doll. Maybe this looks like a poor rendition of a wax figure, but it's actually the corpse of Elena Hoyos. Following her death in her 20s, a man named Carl Tanzler became obsessed with her and ended up stealing and taxidermying her body, where it remained in his home and bed for 10 years.
That looks like a doll.
Should be scared of mirrors. Reddit user Liberated Man said that when he was about 12 years old, he woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. He walked across the hall to the bathroom, hit the lights, and was about to reach for the toilet when he glanced up and saw a face in the mirror. It wasn't his face. He said that it was as if someone was on the other side, standing to the right, with their face right next to the glass, staring at him. He only saw it for the briefest moment, but it seared into his brain. He screamed and ran out to find his dad. His dad, of course, investigated and then calmed him down, or tried to. They had a prayer session because he was so freaked out. Eventually, he went back to sleep. He said that fast forward to his 30s, he had forgotten all about the event, until one night, while visiting, his dad quietly brings it up. He said, "Remember that one time you saw a face in the mirror?" It suddenly came back to him in a rush of a memory, sending a chill down his spine. He said, "Yeah, I remember." And then his dad said, "Well, sometimes I think about that night." He looked down at the floor with a serious expression, and then he said, "I saw it too." He went on to describe exactly what Reddit user Liberated Man had seen. Neither of them have any idea what it was. Apparently, when his dad went to investigate, he saw it and had a freak out of his own. And the prayer session was as much for his own nerves as it was his son's.
For both of them, it's like they both saw the same thing. You guys believe that story?
This one's actually insane. In 2010, 55-year-old Greg Flanagan was found dead on the floor inside of his locked hotel room in Texas. There were no signs of a break-in or robbery, as Greg's wallet was still in his back pocket with cash inside. He had suffered no obvious external injuries, but had massive internal damage, including broken ribs, damage to his liver and intestines, and a hole through his heart. Flanagan's death was soon ruled an unsolved homicide, despite coroners having no idea what actually happened to him. After an 8-month investigation, it was revealed that he died from a 1-in-a-million series of events. A drunk guest in the next hotel room accidentally fired a single bullet through the wall while playing with his pistol. While Flanagan was laying down watching Iron Man 2, the bullet hit him directly in the scrotum and continued up through his body and through his heart, likely killing him moments after he stood up and stumbled toward the door. Lance Moeller was later sentenced to 10 years in prison for his neighbor's bizarre accidental murder.
Here's some random facts that will mess with the way you see the world. Astronaut means star sailor. Astro meaning star and not meaning sailor. That is such a cool name. High heels were originally made for butchers so they wouldn't get blood on the bottom of their shoes. The first ever webcam was created to check on a coffee pot just to make sure it didn't catch on fire. In Switzerland, it's illegal to own just one guinea pig. You need at least 2 or more. I think it's because they get depressed if they're alone. I'm not even joking. Australia is wider than the moon. How does that work? The Eiffel Tower is taller in the summer. This is because metal expands when it gets hot, right? A jiffy is an actual unit of time. It's 1/1000th of a second. In Japan, there's over 200 flavors of Kit Kats. Huh? Why didn't that there were 200 flavors, period. Queen Elizabeth was a trained mechanic in the military. That's a baller move, though. Become a mechanic and then a queen. Like, do you know the only letter that doesn't appear in a U.S. state name? I'll give you like 3 seconds. Ready? 3, 2, 1. The letter Q.
3 most haunted places in the Muslim world. Desi edition. Let's turn off these lights. At number 3, I have Lal Bagh Fort in Bangladesh. This fort started construction in the 1600s, but it was never fully built. This fort is so haunted that it has 3 different ghost stories, not just one. The first ghost story is the story of Puri Bibi, who died inside of this fort in 1684. It is said now the ghost of Puri Bibi haunts this place, and at nighttime people report hearing her dancing and singing inside of the fort. The second story is a headless horseman who goes to this fort to pray inside the prayer room every single night at 3 a.m. People report hearing prayer coming out of this prayer room when it's completely empty, and we all know that's just jinns praying in congregation. MashaAllah. The third story is about an endless tunnel that's closed off to the public that's in this fort. During the British rule of South Asia, a British investigation team sent chained dogs into this endless tunnel, and they never came back. Same exact thing happened to some elephants they sent into this tunnel, so what they did is they sealed off the tunnel and closed it off to the public. At number 2, I have the New Islamabad Airport. The New Islamabad Airport is known to have a lot of ghostly sightings, sounds that you can hear in empty spots of the airport, and electrical malfunctions. It's said that this airport was built on cursed land, but what really happened is probably black magic was on the land already, or there's a jinn infestation inside that airport. At number 1, I have the Mohatta Palace in Pakistan. The Mohatta Palace is notorious for being haunted in Pakistan. It was built in the late 1920s by a man whose last name was Mohatta. I'm not saying his full name. After the partition, it was used by various government officials until it became a museum. Visitors of the Mohatta Palace say they hear voices, see figures, things moving, and they hear parties going on inside the palace. People say it's haunted by the former residents, but we all know that's a jinn.
And they throwing parties there?
Statues caught moving on camera. The Statue of Liberty.
Fun fact of the day that my small brain cannot physically comprehend. This one really did make me say, what the fuck? I want you to do me a favor and pour yourself a glass of water. Do it! Now, there is an immensely high chance that that water you're about to drink is older than the solar system. This is because it existed in ice specks floating in cosmic clouds before any of this shit came to be. Oh, and one more thing. Scientists estimate that every glass of water you drink has 100% passed through a dinosaur. So put immensely bluntly, the most vital thing humans need to survive is Jurassic wee-wee. My brain! Let's make a deal. If you didn't know these facts or they shocked you in any way, you have to share it. Now remind someone to stay hydrated today. And then immediately send them this video. We're so evil. Elon!
So if you drink this, bro, drinking some water, man, drinking Jurassic pee-pee. Wee-wee. The hell? I didn't even know that, man. So this water we drink is older than the solar system because of the ice specs? Tap in, bro. Woo!
Because this has to be one of the creepiest Reddit posts ever. This Reddit user said that him and his friend went hiking in a forest in New York State. While exploring the caves off the trail, they discovered a disturbing statue. It had nails driven into its eyes, a noose around its neck, and an unsettling aura. One of them felt uneasy and warned against taking it because he had heard of satanic rituals that occur in that forest. But the other one decided to bring it home anyway. Strange occurrences began almost immediately. At night, there were banging noises, the statue moved on its own, and a strong smell of pond water filled the house. The man's dog, usually calm, refused to go near the statue, and even started peeing indoors. One night, a knock on the door woke him up at 3 a.m., but when he opened it, no one was there. By morning, he discovered barefoot, muddy footprints throughout the house, even though all the doors and windows were locked. He was so scared that he went to his friend's house, and his friend said that he broke down in tears. After more strange events, the two decided to send the statue to someone that said they could handle it. Since then, the disturbances have stopped, but the two remain deeply unsettled by the whole experience.
They had to send that cursed statue off.
Granny. Granny was based of a Russian woman named Tamara Samsonova. She was a Russian serial killer who was arrested in July of 2015. She held her son captive in her house, and when he moved or made a sound, she beat him with a bat. But on the 5th day, she killed him. But she didn't only kill her son, she also had 11 victims along with her husband, her grandson, and even the tenant of her apartment building. She also supposedly had schizophrenia. She was also a cannibal. She butchered her victims and ate what's left. He was also caught on camera carrying the butchered parts of her victims. This was the gameplay showing her ways of doing the crime.
Why is there 2 of them? I got no chance.
Which game should I tackle next?
Unknown facts about history's most famous people. Steve Jobs was a video game designer before Apple. John Lennon was a graphics designer before musician. Mahatma Gandhi was a lawyer and journalist before politics. Steve Irwin was a pest exterminator before wildlife expert. Elvis Presley served in the US Army before making music.
Never knew. We can.
Whatever picture you
Never
see
knew that.
first reveals what kind of person you are, part 5. Up first is this photo. If you see 3 vases, it means that you have very big goals in life, but will not accomplish them until you step out of your comfort zone. Also, it means that you love focusing on yourself. But if you saw 2 people, it means that life feels very boring for you, and that you're a very kind soul, and you are ready for anything that happens to you in your life. Next up is this picture. If you saw a rabbit, it means that you consider every single consequence before doing anything, and you're a very mean and straight up person. But if you saw a duck, it means you have rapid mood swings, and you make a lot of decisions based on emotion.
Which I saw.
Celebrities in the world. Number 5 is Taylor Swift. Now, we all know that I have some disdain for Taylor Swift, and I've left her alone in recent times, but she still agitates me a lot. Number 4 is Chris Brown. Now, Chris Brown is so irritating because he's so talented. He can sing and dance, but he's always getting himself into these shenanigans, and it's like, Chris, come on, just keep it together a little bit and dance and sing and entertain us. Number 3, Kanye. Now, Kanye, basically a musical Mozart, psychopath on the inside. The things that come out of his mouth are unbelievable. Number 2 is Kim Kardashian, which I think is completely unwarranted. I think she's a brilliant, brilliant person, works really hard, puts it out there, has great image. Like, why all the hate? If you like this list and want more about other nonsense, follow me, leave me a comment with the celebrity you hate the most. Also follow my Instagram, fiance Samantha. And number 1, I thought we were all over this one because it's ridiculous. Justin Bieber.
You guys have a top 5, I guess, list of celebrities you don't mess with or you don't like? I guess everybody got one. It's an edit, bro.
She took a babysitting job, but they didn't mention this was in the house. Sylph Clayton uploaded a series of videos where she shows the house she's babysitting at has faceless, children-like dolls that face the wall like they're playing hide and seek.
Guys, I'm babysitting and I just found the creepiest thing. What is that? Oh my god. No, but what is it? Another one. Why would you have that? Why would anyone have this in their house?
If you look closely, each of these dolls have bells attached to them, as if they're there to alert movement. She wanted to make fun of the doll's position, and by doing so, this happens.
Guys, guess what?
She didn't notice, but what looks like the figure of a girl can be seen in the mirror entering a room.
We saw that.
These are some dirty history facts that I guarantee you were never taught. And if you ever told your history teacher any of these, they definitely go, excuse me, what the fuck? The first toy was invented by Cleopatra. However, to actually make it work, she put angry bees inside of it. You know, so they would go... I can't lie, don't think that would pass Dragon's Den. Next up, the ancient Romans used stale urine as mouthwash. Cool, but why? Do you actually know that Benjamin Franklin had a MILF fetish? A letter that he wrote back in the day was actually found and confirmed this. However, the detail he went into within this letter, we're not going to go there. There is a sign in Pompeii next to the fountain that translates to "Please don't shit in the fountain." All I can think is how many times did that have to happen for a sign to become necessary? And finally, cornflakes were invented to stop what rhymes with fastitation. It was believed that doing this to yourself was a big no-no. They thought stale foods helped fight this urge. Thus, cornflakes. Anywho. Elon!
They were completely wrong on that. I don't think that stopped.
The court cases happening in 2025 are about to go crazy. In January alone, we have Donald Trump facing sentencing for falsifying business records related to hush money payments. On the same day, the Supreme Court will hear arguments on TikTok's fate. And if they don't pause the ban on January the 19th, the US waves goodbye to TikTok. On the 16th, the DOJ's massive antitrust cases against major corporations like Meta, Google, Visa, and Apple begins. They're being accused of engaging in monopolistic practices that stifle competition, and potential outcomes include corporate restructuring and significant fines. Still, in January is the Menendez brothers resentencing hearing, and New York's mayor Eric Adams faces charges of federal bribery and campaign finance violations. In May, Diddy will stand trial in federal court where he faces life in prison. And given the status of the individuals alleged to be implicated, the testimonies and evidence presented in court is expected to be groundbreaking. Luigi's next significant hearing will be on the 21st of February. March is going to be a busy month for OpenAI, because first they're being sued by the New York Times for allegedly using their content to train their AI models, and then also by Elon Musk for violating their original mission as a non-profit and transitioning to a for-profit entity. In February, Rudy Giuliani faces legal proceedings over his failure to comply with a $148 million defamation payment, which was awarded to the two Georgia election workers he had falsely accused of election fraud in 2020. And then in the summer, the DOJ is seeking to break up Live Nation and Ticketmaster. Buckle up, it's gonna be a busy year.
Out of all those cases, Seekers, man, what do you think that's going to get the most attention? I think it's going to be the Diddy case, bro. That joint, it's going to break the, it might break the world, man, with those revelations that's going to drop. All truth will be exposed on that day.
Behind me is a real photo of Jerry Nave. He had his face blown off with a shotgun at a bus stop. He was on LA's Skid Row while he was waiting for the bus, and next thing you knew, he woke up 4 months later in a coma with the right side of his face blown off. The doctors performed a 22-hour operation on him to try to restore his facial structure. This happened in 1998. He was working as a machinist, and all he was doing was waiting for the bus to go home. The doctor said it was a miracle he even survived this, and he was shot at point-blank range. However, if he wasn't shot at point-blank range, his head might have come off. After the incident, he lost contact with most of society, including his own family. All of the doors really closed on him after that. He can't even breathe through his nose properly. He can't smell. He can't taste. Because of his other eye being blown off, he can barely read. He can see through his left eye, but it's pretty blurry. Jerry Nave did pass in November of 2020. It was said there was someone looking for him, possibly his brother, but he just did not want to contact anybody. And the sad thing about this is that they never found his shooter, so this person is probably still out there, and this is probably not their first violent act. But Jerry was a pretty pure soul. He said, "I forgive them." That is such an insane thing to forgive someone after blowing off half of your face. Jerry was obviously known as a very sweet person, of course, as you can tell by the story, and it's just sad that life ended like this for him. If you look up Jerry Nave, there's many interviews with him, and I honestly urge you to go look at them because he's such a pure person. Very sincere, very kind. If you Google him, anyone on the internet that's interacted with him says he's so nice. Let me know your thoughts about Jerry.
Let's talk about another one of the most interesting and terrifying urban legends on the internet, the Smiling Man. The Smiling Man is a humanoid entity who is described as being unnaturally tall and lanky, with a cartoonishly large smile that never leaves his face. Those who have encountered him have described his behavior as being unusual and unsettling, dancing when there is no music being played in the middle of the street, and staring at random people as they pass him by. His purpose and his origins are largely unknown. He will appear to random people at night, whether in the streets or in their own homes, and although he does not typically attack, his victims are left with severe PTSD, seeing his unnerving smile in their dreams long after he is gone. He possesses many unnatural abilities which he uses to stalk people, such as telekinesis, telepathy, teleportation, and perhaps the most disturbing, dream traveling.
Some people say that once you've seen his smile, it will haunt you for the rest of your life. Tag a friend who needs to see this and follow for more.
Beware the smiler, man. Okay, I'll be like, keep that bad energy away from me. I don't need him, or whatever that is, haunting my dreams.
Fun fact, Fujifilm managed to avoid the collapse of the camera film industry by switching to beauty products. The digital camera killed a number of companies, most notably Kodak, who pretty much dominated the camera film era. Funny enough, Kodak invented the first digital camera in 1975, but didn't believe it would catch on. But Fujifilm saw the writing on the wall, and knew that digital cameras would kill their business. So they looked to diversify. They moved into medical imaging technology, as well as beauty products. Since their research and development department had found many of the chemicals they used to prevent film from oxidizing were also incredibly effective skincare products. They began working on a skincare line, and in 2007 they released an award-winning line of skincare products called Astalift. The success of Astalift helped Fujifilm successfully pivot away from being a camera film company and stay alive through the death of film, as opposed to Kodak, which went bankrupt in 2012.
This is a true horrifying story of a haunted house in Jumeirah 1. This story was submitted by a family, a mom, a dad, and 3 daughters. The story happened in 2016. Jumeirah 1 is an old area in Dubai. Many houses there are old, though they are very expensive, since they're just a 5-minute walk from the beach. This family moved in a new house with a 1-year lease contract. After organizing furniture, they moved in and the 3 daughters picked the rooms they wanted. On the 3rd night, the youngest daughter, age 10, came to her sisters crying, saying she doesn't want to sleep in her room anymore. When they asked her why, she didn't want to speak. She then slept with them in another room that night. On the 4th night, she comes back at 1 a.m. crying again, but this time she seemed petrified. She was shivering, begging not to sleep in her bedroom. One of the sisters gets up and walks towards her room. She bends over to get a peek, while the 2 other sisters were staring at her from behind. This sister got paralyzed from waist up. She wanted to scream for help, but she was not able to move a muscle. And her sisters behind her didn't know that she was struggling. She was frozen in her spot. She fell down a few seconds later, and she runs to wake up her parents. She was shouting intensely, explaining what just happened. The father gets up and gently goes inside that bedroom, as if someone in there was calling him. He goes in and shockingly closes the door behind him. It was a terrifying moment of silence, as the whole family waited for the father outside that door. A minute felt like an hour. He comes out with an agitated face and says, "All of you should leave this house now." The mother knew exactly what her husband was going through. She acted normal. She took her daughters and left the house. Never try fixing a situation like this if you're angry. This is the latest update. The father is fine. The daughters are okay. The whole family is safe and happy in a new home. But just to show you how haunted this house is, in 2018, the landlord decided to demolish and rebuild this house. They were 2 weeks behind schedule because 13 deconstructing equipment were damaged during the process.
Definitely has to be some validity to that story, man. 13 freaking vehicles were damaged during that process, man. The house was putting up a fight. There was definitely some dark energy swirling around there. Glad that family got out safe. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys comment down below. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Also hit that post notification bell so you get notified when I upload my next video. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.